Hello, freaks, if you're joining us. About to let Matthew in. Ha ha ha. I don't know if the resolution's good here. This is my first time doing this. And here comes Matt.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
1 sec. You're coming in through the...
You freaks are getting a ninja launched on myself here, so I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I see that. I guess we're just fucking ripping this thing, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like it, dude.
Okay, I exist. I'm here.
You do exist. This is something I was questioning before last week when we met in person. I thought it may have disappeared, and then I was able to see you in the flesh last week. You do exist. I can confirm that. What is up, freaks?
Oh, there we go. Gallery view. Oh no, I see. Okay, so I guess Twitter's on a delay. Okay. Sorry
good.
about that, freaks.
It's all good. I hope. How's the resolution on Twitter? Is it coming in okay? Am I like slow? Am I like?
It looks great.
All right, good.
I mean, I know that background. That background isn't your home.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I built this fireplace last week.
That's what's his face is the best Yule log video there is.
Is it Nick Schwartzen?
No. It's Nick.
Nick Offerman. There we go.
Nick Offerman. Yeah.
I'm getting my Nicks mixed up. I don't have a bottle opener, so I'm going to use this washer. I'm going to start out with a cider.
He reached the pinnacle that I've always been trying to reach. Is he's got a massive Scotch sponsorship.
What's his Scotch sponsorship?
It's right there behind you. Why don't you just turn around and look at it?
Yeah, it's Macallan 12. Freaks see here.
I forget what he's sponsored by. Now I got to tell the freaks.
I don't know. Freaks, thank you for bearing with us as I ninja launched this live stream.
Yeah, Lagavulin.
Ah, crap. I got to hit record for the podcast. I'm going to do that right now.
Okay, so the freaks tuning in live got a special. I guess we could take the video from the audio from the beginning.
Yeah, but we'll just start. We'll just start the episode now. All right, you freaks who are tuning in on Twitter are seeing the unedited version. What is up, freaks? Welcome back to Rabbit Hole Recap Special Edition. We're live. I think we're live. It seems that we're live. Matt's confirming that we're live on many platforms right now. We're also recording for the podcast platforms. We're recording on a Wednesday. It's a day early. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Matt lied last week and said I wasn't willing to.
You said it on air.
Yeah, you weren't willing to either. Don't throw me under the bus.
I'm happy to record tomorrow. Should we just cut this and just record tomorrow instead?
No, I honestly don't have time. I'll be traveling. Interesting week. Congrats to you launching a new show last night. Let's start with that.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. I was able to tune in for like 45 minutes. Incredible content.
We got some really good feedback from the freaks. It seems like they enjoy it. It's something that I've been considering for a while. While to get the freaks more content, but not to just get them content for the sake of content, like actually fill a niche that I don't think that doesn't exist, and that gives them a better experience, right? So I think now with the combination of your interview series, our Rabbit Hole Recap, and this Citadel Dispatch, we're providing like a nice fleshed out content experience that they all complement each other really well. So I'm super excited about that. And I mean, I had to get off my ass and get it done if I wanted to claim that it started in 2020. So here we are.
Yeah, you were asking about the launch date. Should you do it this week? Should you do it next week? It doesn't matter. Consistency is what matters.
We overloaded the freaks this week.
I know. There's like 8 pieces of content out there right now.
In my head, it was like a typical week might look like interview, dispatch, interview, rabbit hole, interview. But instead, this week was just like content, and we just like threw it at them.
Yeah, a lot of good content too, I would say. We got Late Switch Lou back in the booth. Man, the myth, the legend. This podcast would not exist without him. It was great catching up with him. If you didn't listen to that, go check it out. We had the team from Mint Gox on. Desiree, Chris Shamas, and Simon Cowell. Incredible name. Talking about the Mint Gox tournament this Sunday, the 27th. If you're available and you're into gaming, into esports, go check out the Mint Gox tournament this Sunday. The Zebedee team has a very special announcement at 3:30 Eastern. The tournament starts before then, but the announcement will be around 3:30 from what I was told. And then we had our boy Arbed Out. We held that one from you freaks for what, 8 days. I know you guys wanted that immediately, but we had to hold it from you due to Arbed Out's request. He wanted to withhold it until today.
I love the idea of making it like our annual Christmas or like our annual Festivus special, end of year Festivus special with Arbed Out. But next year we have to make sure we record it closer to Festivus. Like, I mean, in Bitcoin, like a week is a long fucking time, and I think in December's for Bitcoin, it tends to be even longer. You know, like next December is going to be fucking lit, in my opinion. So we might want to consider recording it sooner next time.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that one live because Arbed Out values his privacy and his OPSEC. But yeah, it'll be fun. Maybe we'll do it closer to the actual air date. You wound up sounding like a genius. What was your final guesstimate?
Well, I was actually way off in terms of
timing,
the FinCEN regulation, but I was right on the price. I was like, I was insanely bullish. I finally broke the jinx. I think this episode finally broke the jinx. Like I was just screaming off the top of my lungs. It was like the one thing I could think about was that the price was about to fucking moon, and here we are.
Yeah,
because we were at like 19.5, and now we're at like $24,000. So
yeah, it's been a crazy week. We were a little bit bearish. I'm sorry, I got like a GAM thing I got to respond to right now, but it's done. And yeah, I think it's been a great week of content. I'm happy to end this week with you. Cheers to you. Cheers to you, freaks. It's been a great year of content. We do have one more. Yeah, what's today? The 23rd. Tomorrow will be the 24th. Are we going to do a New Year's Eve?
I'm happy to do a New Year's Eve for the freaks. I don't know about you, but
I can too.
Damn it.
No, I can.
I was calling your bluff. No, you called my bluff. No, I can do a New Year's Eve. We'll do a New Year's Eve.
We'll do it earlier. We'll do it around noon. 2020, what a year. But I think this live thing's throwing us off our mojo right now. Let's get into Rabbit Hole Recap. Who are we? What do we do? How do we start this out? We're on Clark Moody's dashboard right now. The price of Bitcoin is currently $23,550. $1 is going to get you 4,247 sats. The market cap of Bitcoin is $4 billion, approaching 450 billion. You're going to get 12.4 ounces of gold per Bitcoin. Bitcoin versus gold's market cap is currently 3.56%, creeping up, still not where it needs to be. We're at block 662,677. There have been 18,579,156.65 Bitcoin distributed to the market at this point. That's 88.47% of every Bitcoin that'll ever exist. 21 million freaks. What are we looking at here? Difficult to retarget coming up. Earlier on my block clock, it said it about 4 days. Yeah, December 27th. So less than that, a little bit. Or no, it's the 23rd. Yeah, 4 days. There are 587 blocks till next retarget. It is now currently looking to be an upwards difficulty adjustment around 1%, 0.9% according to Clark's dashboard. Blocks been coming in around 9 minutes and 55 seconds over the last 2016 blocks. 43,920 transactions in Clark's dashboard. Excuse me, not in Clark's dashboard, in his node, in his mempool. The percentage of those transactions that are RBF transactions is 22.1%. Fees versus the block reward creeping up. Estimated to be, next block about 17% of the block reward. Pretty high. Samurai unspent capacity. I saw you tweeting about this earlier. All-time high in both Sats and USD. Currently 1,759.6 Bitcoin, which is valued at $41.4 million.
Our boy Typerbole, which is a great username on Twitter at Typerbole, curated unspent capacity charts. So I've just officially, the time has come that I've ended whirlpoolstats.com, my version, and now whirlpoolstats.com just goes to his. So if you go check that out right now, it's actually pretty fucking cool. But yeah, shout out to him, whirlpoolstats.com. And he's got Wasabi stats there. It's his Bitcoin KPIs, but it just goes to the fungibility page. It's got BISC stats. It's got all the good stuff you'd like. Basically, he's making Clark's dashboard, but he's just creating graphs instead of just a static board.
Hey, I like the plethora of dashboards that are coming to market. Shout out to our boys Gimmer and Mark Schwannard at Bitbo. Bitbo.io. Go check that board out. This is a new one. We like to see unspent capacity on Samurai Whirlpool going up. Where there was a little bit of a coin join flame war earlier this week. I noticed. I don't think we have that on the list to jump into, but I don't think. I don't know. I saw Shinobi and the Samurai guys going back and forth.
Do you have an opinion on it?
I mean, my opinion's pretty public at this point. I think the flame wars are a little overblown, and they do. A lot of people get confused. I had somebody DM me this week like, "Hey, I'm confused. Like, I think Wasabi works. Should I use Samurai?" And I don't feel comfortable making that decision on behalf of the freaks. Personally, I feel like you have more confidence in that area.
Marty, what do you use personally?
I use Whirlpool personally, and I have used Wasabi in the past. But I only use Whirlpool because I run my own dojo. I don't think I would run it without having run a dojo. What do you think about that?
I think everyone should use their own node, regardless of what they're doing. But especially if you're seeking out privacy, and if you don't use your own node, you should at least use Tor or VPN. But you're still leaking a ton of information.
Yeah. Be aware, freaks. Be aware. We're not here to make decisions for you. We're here to let you know what we're thinking. This is our inclination. Do your own research. Please don't trust us. Verify. We could be scammers. We could be scamming you.
I mean, I know for a fact Marty's a spook. I've just been moving him along just so that he gets comfortable with me, so then I can ultimately just right in the back.
You're gonna stab me?
I don't know. What do you do with spooks? I guess you can't arrest a spook, right? You got to like just put their feet in concrete and throw them off the dock, right?
Yeah, if we're going by the Departed way of dealing with spooks.
I won't stab you. I'll drop you off the dock alive.
Yeah.
It's my courtesy.
Yeah, you walk into their house with like a little hair shower protectors over your feet. You hit them with a silencer.
Oh yeah, or like Sopranos, right? Like, we'll go for a drive, Marty. Let's just go see the woods.
I like drives. Oh, I like the woods. What? We're going here? All right, let's jump into the topics. Big one of the week, one we've been covering for months now, all year it seems at this point. The Ledger data code out of it, and somebody just wound up opening it up to the public. It was on Pastebin, so you could go search whether or not your information was on it. It's becoming apparent that a lot of very intimate private information, including physical addresses, has been exposed. Hundreds of thousands of people, 200,000 people, I believe, had their addresses exposed, correct? At least. Home addresses.
You cut out for a bit there. I'm not sure if it was me. Yep, someone in the comments is saying you cut out.
Oh, my bad.
So the there was two data dumps. There was about 1 million addresses, 1 million email addresses, a little bit over 1 million email addresses that were leaked, and then there was over 250,000 mailing addresses with phone number and email. I looked at the database, like a couple of my buddies are on it. It's pretty fucked up. Just scrolling through just like lists of home addresses of Bitcoiners. Very few are using PO boxes, even though they should. Hopefully a bunch of them are using remailing services, and you can't tell from the data because a remailing address will just look like a regular address. But people shouldn't be getting things shipped to their home. But at the same time, like Ledger's you gotta secure this data more. And what people don't like, you gotta treat it like it's as valuable as Bitcoin.
Right.
And you shouldn't be keeping it on hot servers accessible through the internet. You should be trying to reduce the attack vector as much as possible. If you have to keep records for government agencies, like those records should be on paper in filing cabinets. Like they should be cold stored. You should be taking data privacy as seriously as possible, especially in the Bitcoin space, but I think across the board. And what people don't realize is, even if you're just on that email list, which, to be honest, the majority of funds that have been stolen so far have been stolen through that email list. They send you a phishing email, but a fake email that gets you to put your seed words in. But even if you're just on the email list, if another company that's completely unrelated also suffered a breach, which they all suffer breaches all the fucking time, and they all collect way too much data. So let's say like Ticketmaster got a breach, and that Ticketmaster breach has your email address and your mailing address in the breach. If someone gets the email address from the Ledger breach, they can connect the dots with the other breach, and then they have your mailing address as well, right? So just because you're in the email only section doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a bunch of different hackers out there and a bunch of different malicious individuals out there that have easy access to your home address. It's just that obviously the lower hanging fruit is just a single text document that has fucking 250,000 addresses in it.
Yes, and we still have a lot to cover on this topic, particularly, but I want to bring this up, particularly because I was speaking to somebody last night who really understands these e-com stores. And I think it's good information for anybody in the Bitcoin space, running an e-commerce store and having to store some personal data on their customers. The issue with Ledger wasn't their e-commerce store; it was their CRM, or their client/contact relationship management system, which forces you to collect data, and nobody can like that data on the CRM specifically gets exposed. So if you're,
it's their marketing database.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the customer management. It's like what Salesforce does for you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that. It's not necessarily the store. It's the database that they take the information from the store and store it there.
That's worse,
right? Yeah.
That's
the way the world works.
Prioritizing marketing over your customers' data privacy.
Yes, and that's like the way. Like apply that to any industry outside of Bitcoin, and that's like a good thing to most people. It's like, hey, I need this data. It's going to help me serve better products. But in the case of Bitcoin, as we're finding out, it's not really advantageous, and it leads to some scary stuff. Like the one phishing email, which I don't think came true, but like I don't think these people are actually going to physically harm, but they're sending an email like, hey, here's your address. I know you live here. Send me $500 worth of Bitcoin. I won't show up. I saw another one of somebody received a phone call from another person who was claiming to be a meth addict and needed some Monero to buy more meth on the dark market, and was asking them to send Monero. Luckily, that person, according to Reddit, this is a story I saw on Reddit, recorded that phone call, send it to local authorities. Local authorities are on the case. But yeah, it's just a whole fucking shitstorm that's been opened up. And hand up, you hear Tales from the Crypt. I'm not an e-commerce expert. I'm not a data security expert. So I just nuked our merch store. Like I deleted our Shopify and our relationship with the on-demand printing company we were working with, because I would reached out to both of them. I was like, hey, will you delete this information? They were like, no. And I was like, all right, I just got to delete the accounts until we figure this out.
To be clear here, Marty was already routinely deleting what we could delete.
Yeah.
But there was some data that couldn't be deleted. So he just fucking went ham and just like nuked everything. So there's no longer a TFTC merch store. That's how much we love you, freaks. And if that means if you're a freak with our merch, like that's limited edition, like there's only so many now.
Yeah. Stop getting sweat on them. They may be worth a lot more in the future. I'm kidding.
I
This
mean, you
is
could just go print your own if you want,
that's
and
just
then and
that's
just donate the savings to Bitcoin developers, please.
yeah, that's all we ask. That's all we ask. A small ask. Very small ask. Um yeah, again, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not a data security expert. Some
I just want
people
to go back to the ledger hack. Um, there's a lot of talk about like people coming to homes and stuff and robbing you or 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 putting a knife to you or a gun to you and holding you up or maybe at the most extreme cases kidnapping like a loved one or something like that. And absolutely people should be concerned about these types of threats, and they should try and reduce their exposure to these types of threats. Don't leak your home address, don't get things shipped to your home address, protect it. Alarm systems, guns, dogs, these things, they obviously help, right? Multi-sig in different jurisdictions, or just multi-sig in different areas where you have to get on a plane or something to get to it. These things help you, but at the same time, it always comes down to, with these types of database leaks and hacks and stuff, it's the lowest hanging fruit. Almost all the time, it's the lowest hanging fruit. So what we see is a ton of phishing emails and a ton of phishing texts, where they basically try and trick you into putting in your seed. And we've been talking about this on the podcast for the last couple of weeks, and they've been very successful. Like our boy Ergo has been tracking some of so not only was this database sold on the internet for months, now it's officially been leaked for free, right? So there's not just one group out there trying to get people, there's multiple groups. And at least one group, he clustered their addresses and they've received 24 Bitcoin. So they've received over $500,000, and they didn't even have to put pants on. They never had to leave their house, and they can hit everyone around the world at the same time. And some people will fall for it and they'll get paid. And then the next step after that is these threats where they call you, or they email you, or they text you, and they send a threat that they don't actually intend to comply with probably the majority of the time. And they just hope that the majority of people, or just not even the majority, some people will get scared and will send you shit. And I imagine the next step after that is like people are going to get actual mail, like this is a fake IRS mailing, or this is a police mailing that says, you need to pay this or disclose this address or do this or do that. So that, it's all because that's a little more difficult. You have to go to the post office. You got to fucking put a stamp and mail an envelope and shit. So it's like there's all these different levels. And unless like an attacker has like there's like a specific, they have like specific information. They know this person, they know exactly, how much they have, how they store it, and all this stuff. It probably won't be worth it for them to risk actually home invading someone. But it should be on the back of everyone's mind all the fucking time. Like it should be something you should always be concerned about. But we need to be realistic about, like, people should be realistic about the threat. Like people have a tendency to absolutely freak the fuck out, which I kind of understand, but at the same time, it's important to realize this.
Yes, and mitigation could be pretty simple if you use multi-sig with geographically dispersed keys. If you are able to set up a vault that makes it so your coins can only move after a certain amount of blocks have been mined after signing a certain transaction, somebody who's trying to physically harm you, they are racing against the clock. So if you have your UTXOs set up in a point that they take a very long time to move, that will reduce the chance that those coins are stolen. Somebody may come to your house, but they're racing against the clock in their mind, like, hey, I've got to get out here ASAP. And if it's going to take me 2 days to actually pull this heist off, I'm probably just going to run away and hope they don't know who I am and don't report me to authorities. There are certain things you can do before any of this happens. And let's be honest, the chance of this happening to any single one freak are very low. But the chances of it happening are probably, like, not to each individual, but it's going to happen to some people in the future. Hopefully it's not you. Hopefully it's not me. But you can mitigate the ability for this nefarious actor to actually get your coins. Again, multi-sig, set up vaults where it takes time to move this stuff, and carry guns. Like, say, hey, mess around and find out. Okay, come into my house, try to steal my UTXOs, find out what this is all about. I think that it takes one or two stories of somebody physically entering a Bitcoiner's house and trying to steal their UTXOs, only to be met with a gun and shot on site to scare away other people from trying to do the same thing. But with that being said, we're talking
That's very
about
American.
exactly. That's what I was just going to say. It's very American. A lot of people who are on this list were in third world countries where extortion and kidnapping, not third world countries, but in countries in London where extortion and third world, or not third, where extortion and kidnapping are prevalent, and where gun laws or freedom to own guns doesn't exist either to protect yourself. Yeah, sorry for being very
and
American
there's some people
focused
on
there.
that list that live in countries where Bitcoin is likely illegal or less legal than we're fortunate to have in our country, right? And I think there's twofold here. We talk about personal responsibility all the time, and this is very much a personal responsibility movement. So absolutely, people need to take these concerns into their own hands and protect themselves. Don't trust companies with this intimate information. But at the same time, like, we have to expect our companies that we support to work towards our best interest. And we should support companies that do, and we should avoid companies that don't. And hopefully, we see a Bitcoin industry develop where companies do act more privacy focused than their conventional counterparts. Because there's definitely room for some companies that add trust to the situation, as long as the trade-offs are properly disclosed. And I think one of the obvious ones that a lot of people have been talking about recently is these hosted multi-sig services. One of them is our sponsor, Unchained, and the other one's Casa. And you are trusting them with intimate financial information with the benefit of they hold your hand and they hold one of your keys for you in the case you need to recover, right? I understand that service, but users should be aware that they are, that they're sacrificing their privacy, and that they're not sacrificing their privacy, but they're trusting their privacy with this company. And I want to highlight a specific tweet, which was Jameson Lopp, the CEO and co-founder of Casa. He was basically victim blaming on Twitter
CTO.
About this. Oh, CTO, and co-founder. He was basically victim blaming about this, saying that users shouldn't have trusted Ledger with this information. But Casa's whole business model is that users are trusting them to have their best interests at heart and to practice best practices. That is the whole fucking business model. So we have to be careful here in terms of saying that we expect Peter McCormick, who's an outspoken Casa user, is not using the process that Jameson says that users of Casa should be using. The overwhelming majority of Casa users are not, using a burner email address and a burner phone number and a pseudonym and paying with Bitcoin instead of credit card. They're exposing themselves, and that's fine because they trust Casa. But the trade-offs just need to be clear, and we need to just hold these companies to higher standard.
Yeah, agreed. And so, pointing out good standards, I think Trezor, they anonymize all their user data after 90 days of purchase or delivery. I'm not sure. Cold Card, CoinKite, Rodolfo announced yesterday, I believe, or the day before, that they're just nuking all of their customer data within, except for orders that are going out now, and
then it's 120 days going forward.
120 days, they'll just nuke everything. Correct?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way. Someone asked, can you post a deletion proof? There's no way to prove that these companies are deleting it. So really the best practice is, Jameson's completely right in that regard. Like the best practice is you don't want to expose these. You don't want to trust them in the first place. You want to just keep that data, as much of that data, to yourself and not trust them, because there's no way to prove they delete. This is the same exact situation we see with the trust model with VPNs. Like the VPN company can say that they're not keeping logs, but there's literally no way we could ever prove it.
Yeah. So be aware, freaks. Be aware. If you are on that exposed database, feel for you. It's got to be a pretty shitty feeling, especially if you're still at the physical address where that ledger was delivered. If you're still using that email address, that phone number, it's scary. And does Ledger recover from this? I guess that's the last question to end on this particular subject.
I mean, we see companies don't get punished for these privacy fuck ups. They don't get punished enough for these privacy fuck ups. I mean, look, BlockFi's business is fucking thriving right now. Does anyone even remember that fuck up? Like, does anyone still talk about that fuck up? They'll lose some customers, but in terms of the shitcoin game, like you want to securely to store shitcoin keys in a more secure fashion while maintaining convenience. There's really just Ledger. You have Trezor and you have Ledger.
Yeah. Be aware, and it really, I don't want to say it's funny, but it's almost poetic that we're talking about this. And the next topic is FinCEN adding new KYC requirements for withdrawals over $3,000. So it's proposed. There's a comment period going on right now. I believe it started this.
Right?
Well, I don't know. I'm a little optimistic that the comment period may be successful in at least delaying this. But let's describe what's going on for the freaks out there, because it happened last Friday after we recorded last week, and we'd been waiting for it. We thought it was going to happen on December 10th. Didn't happen till final hour on December 17th, of course, as these things usually go. But it seems even then, like, this proposal that's been proposed is a little watered down from what they originally wanted, is why they delayed announcing it in the first place. But yeah, so the FinCEN via the Treasury is proposing that withdrawals from exchanges to personal wallets over $3,000, you have to do some more extensive KYC. The exchanges will have to collect more information from their users, and then if it goes to $10,000, what's a CTR again? What's that stand for?
The suspicious activity report, right?
I don't think it's a SAR. It's something else.
Isn't it the same concept as a SAR though?
Essentially, yeah. You have to report. You have to send the KYC information of that customer and that transaction data to FinCEN,
which is what a SAR is, right?
Yeah, well, because
it might stand for like consumer transaction report or something, like customer transaction report.
I think that's what it stands for. Yes, customer transaction report. Because I don't think you can automatically assume that CTR, currency transaction reporting. So they're going to send that. It's going to be held in so there's like many poetic things about this particular topic. We just saw Ledger got leaked, and all the personal information of Ledger users, who people will assume are Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies, are being openly attacked with phishing attacks and phone calls and claims that people come physically harm them. And now FinCEN and the Treasury are enacting stricter KYC laws to collect more personal data, hold that data only a week after the Treasury suffered an epic hack that like,
you think the Ledger hack was bad? Wait till the fucking Treasury dumps happen.
Yeah, it's the
fucking amount of data that's been leaked there is fucking crazy,
insane. Like, and I'm hearing more like the SolarWinds thing.
Well, that's what the Treasury hack was.
Yeah, well, so SolarWinds is what the software company that's been selling their software to institutions like the Treasury, and they've been running it.
Massive
companies, government agencies. Backdoor was found in the SolarWinds technology, and it dropped like in March, right? It took like a 6 months or something to triggered recently. People have been getting hacked, data taken. People were worried about the grid system. apparently. Like, again, I'm not an expert on this particular subject, but it seems very, very fucking bad.
All the experts live in the other countries. They're fucking hacking us all the time.
What's
I
it for?
like you know, I love this country, but we can't protect our shit. Like we just can't. So until then, until ever, we should just assume we can't protect our shit, and we should allow each individual to protect their shit, and we should encourage it. We, you know, I want to see the day where they're saying encryption doesn't work. I want the encryption mandate. Like everyone needs to use encryption, and they should force us to use encryption.
I agree. And it's like, I think your thought of the week in the SAT standard was perfect. These agencies should be fucking ashamed. Like, how could Steve Mnuchin, the week they're getting like hacked terribly, with a straight face, propose this regulation on exchanges? Like, hey, we're actually going to need more data. We're going to need you to give us data that identifies Bitcoin owners. Give us all their personal information. On top of that, let us know how much Bitcoin they bought at what point in time, and then let's hope we can hold it in these servers and it doesn't get leaked out to the dark web. Because at that point, you have like a lot of talk about like protecting your Bitcoin revolves around plausible deniability. Like if you're having the treasury collect all this data and a hacker gets access to it, it becomes a lot harder to have a situation which you have plausible deniability, because they can be like, hey, I know you did this at this point in time. Like, I know you
Right.
have this shit.
If you give a hacker or someone, you give like a home invasion burglar, you give them like a decoy, you give them a wallet that doesn't have all of your funds in it. If they know the actual records, then they're like, no, I know you have all this other fucking funds. And I mean, this is the inherent risk of KYC, right? Because you know, all this information is already being harvested. To be honest, I mean, if freaks go and listen to the Arbed Out episode, like I absolutely destroyed you on the price call. But in terms of this FinCEN thing, like I like to believe that the industry complaints and having our boy Warren Davidson and the other congressmen like push back, like helped behind closed doors. But this was way less of a restriction than I expected. Like this idea, like I expected withdrawal restrictions, like full withdrawal restrictions, like that you couldn't withdraw $3,000. Now it's if $3,000, if you withdraw $3,000, then they're going to do more KYC on you. I mean, they do so much KYC on you already. Like the every time you do a $10,000 withdrawal in Bitcoin, I assumed that got sent to like 15 different government agencies already. Like that was the assumption I was running under.
Silver lining for Cash App users. Disclaimer: sponsor the pod. You literally can't get clipped on this this regulation. No, because they get
their daily limit is 2,500.
No, it's 2,000. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, either way,
yeah.
It feels like that's not a coincidence, but I have no confirmation. I don't know.
No, I doubt that's a coincidence. I bet it's a coincidence and not intentional, because I don't think anybody knew the threshold which the Treasury was going to put out there.
Freaks are saying it's 2,000. They want me to know it's 2,000. We hear you.
It's 2,000. We're trying. Believe me, we're saying it should be higher. Don't worry. But so that's one aspect of it, and then I forgot where I was going to go with this. I had something good to go on too.
Oh, apologies. We're still talking about FinCEN, right?
Yeah, we're still talking about FinCEN, but I was going to tie it into something else, and I just completely blanked. It'll come to me though. And so the result of this announcement, obviously we have this commenting period started today, I believe. It said to be 15 days, but it started today and it's only 11 days. It's all very confusing. But so good comments. Matt Corallo, he wrote some comments over the weekend and posted them on Twitter. And I think he made a really good point. Like just the Munchin Butts announcement proves how little they understand these systems. And I think Matt pointed out a really specific example in his comments, like multisig. Like, so like, what if you're sending from an exchange to a multisig address controlled by a company, a person, and multiple people? I mean, you could have upwards of 5 parties involved. Like, do you KYC all of them? Is that practical?
Yeah. Like, they don't care if it's practical. I mean,
is it even possible?
I was
Like, do
think these
KYC a
arguments.
business?
I mean, is it possible? It's possible that they just say you can't fucking, if you're a regulated business, you can't let people take self custody. Like they could easily do that. Like that is not, they don't. There's no, um, we see in the DeFi land, they're freaking out even more because people, the typical flow is they withdraw from Coinbase directly into a fucking smart contract. It's like, are you gonna KYC the hacker that inevitably compromises that smart contract? Like it's fucking ridiculous, right? But they don't care. Like the idea is as far as they're concerned, best case scenario that no one actually uses Bitcoin. Everyone just uses Bitcoin IOUs on regulated exchanges. Like that is the ultimate goal. And they don't fucking care about all these different this idea that like, oh, I could send to my address and then I could send to another address. Are they going to KYC that address? No, they're going to fucking throw the book at you if they suspect that there's anything kind of suspicious, and then they'll reassess afterwards.
Yeah. I feel like the people are maybe, again, the initial thought you said in the Armed Out episode, it was going to be a complete ban on self custody, got watered down significantly. Now we have this commenting period. Seems like Cynthia Lummis has come out. She's commenting. She wants everybody to CC her. Shout out our queen, Cynthia. Love you, girl. Like she's getting involved already. On top of this, like if the Trump administration is on its way out, is that really what Donald Trump, do you think he wants to be known as somebody who killed innovation on the most freedom enabling technology the world has ever seen on his way out of office? I think he's thinking about his legacy pretty hard right now. Like, I don't know. I think Munchin Butts just comes off like a bad person, and like it just seems very vindictive on the way out from him personally. And then I hear behind the scenes that to get this pass, OMB, I don't know my acronyms, Office of Management of Budget or something like that.
Home equity line of credit. Boom.
Home equity line of credit. Yes. Thank you for making us aware of that last week, Freak. Sorry. Can you tell I've never owned a home or a mortgage?
Real Bitcoiners rent until hyper Bitcoinization is complete.
This is true. United States Office of Management and Budget. So apparently this has to go through this particular office to get passed, and the Treasury, this particular Treasury, Stephen Munchin Butts and his staff and the Office of Management and Budget have had beef. So there's another thing sort of working in our favor there that could delay this. So the commenting period's on. It's through the holidays. This is such a scumbag move by Munchin Butts doing this literally at the last hour that he possibly could over the holiday season. It just highlights how disgusting Washington, D.C. is. We could couple that with what happened yesterday with the quote unquote stimulus bill, which is like disgusting.
They don't even hide it. They don't even hide it anymore.
Well, it's like, so I've been talking about this all day. My wife, this is like the first thing that is like enraged her. Like she was literally fuming at the ears yesterday, like screaming, like, and just pissed off at like people who are LARPing all year, like about the state of the country, and like they're worried about it, and like how much corruption there was and how racist Trump was. There's Nazis taking over. Not a peep from anybody talking about this shit yesterday. Like it was like, oh, Mitch McConnell like made it $600. Like, I don't care if it's $600 or $200 or $2,000. That's not the point. The point is all the fucking pork piled onto it. Why the fuck is the Smithsonian getting $1 billion or however much? I think maybe 400 million, whatever it is. They shouldn't be getting that. Everybody on their staff's making like $500,000 a year. They have something like $700 million of assets on their balance sheet. Like, and we're giving, like, during a time of crisis when you're trying to help the American people after you've fucking destroyed small businesses across the country, the backbone of this country. Number one, you're gonna fucking turn around like, here's $600, even if it's $2,000. People are like, yay, we're fighting for $2,000. Have some fucking dignity. $2,000 isn't any better. Like, these people are pissing in our faces and telling us it's raining. They do not give a fuck about us. I say this all the time. They don't give a fuck about you freaks. They don't give a single fuck about you, about me. They, like, it's blatantly obvious. And this passed the House and Congress. These people, these politicians will get out there. They'll chirp, chirp, chirp. I'm here for the little guy. I'm here to save you. They don't give a fuck about you. They're giving billions of dollars to foreign countries. Gender studies in Pakistan. Why the fuck will we ever give money for gender studies in Pakistan? Who, like, what?
I think the important thing is that it's fucking bipartisan,
right?
This is, you know, fucking over small business, like fucking over the little guy is not a party line issue. It is something they can come together on.
And it's so egregious. So this is something I've been thinking about a lot the last day, because what set me down the path towards Bitcoin was actually the TARP bill. I talk about this a lot on this podcast. Took elective economics class my senior year of high school, just so happened to be the fall of 2007 or 2008, excuse me, when everything was going to shit. And the teacher had us go through the TARP bill, like line by line over the course of a couple weeks. And at the age of 17, seeing how much bullshit all these politicians were putting into a stimulus package that was needed to save the rest of the country when the banking system was failing. Like the stuff that they snuck into that bill disgusted me at my core as a human at 17. Fast forward 12 years, same exact things happening, potentially on a more egregious level, considering what's happened to the country this year with the shutdown of the economy. But I think this time may be different because of social media, like the outrage that is happened on social media over the last 24 hours. That wouldn't have been possible. Social media existed, but it was very early days. That would not have been possible back then. I'd be interested to see if the existence of Twitter and other platforms today and how widespread they are wakes more people up. Could be wrong.
That's I think it's the power of the meme, right? Like it's a super easy meme to digest. Like no one, you list out all the fucking like things that they're spending money on, and then you say, and then you pleb get $600 and you just put it in a fucking PNG and you tweet it out, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok. Like it's like it becomes very obvious to people that it's fucked, right?
Right? Yeah. It's so fucked. It's so bad. These people don't give a fuck about you freaks. They don't give a fuck about you. And that's why, like I tweeted out, I triggered some of you freaks too. I love triggering you. Donnie getting out there saying, nah, cut the fat or not passing it. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if he vetoes it. It'll be interesting to see. Well, talk is cheap. That's why I said it'll be interesting to see if he vetoes it. And if he does, if it goes back to the House, whether or not they pass it with 2/3 majority, which they had the first time around. So
he hasn't vetoed it, right?
I don't think officially, no, not yet. I haven't heard that. But yeah, we started with FinCEN and we ended on the stimulus. The stimulus bill is fucking disgusting. Fuck these people. They're terrible. We're not going to drown in our sorrows though. We have some. That reminds
me though, because you were talking about triggering people. You had a really poor take last week.
What was that?
That we haven't discussed individually. So we might as well do it live on air. When you attacked gamers, what was that about, Marty?
So that was a joke.
Your head.
That was a joke. If you see, it was a 3-tweet thread, and I was attacking people playing Cyberpunk 2077 particularly. So I quote tweeted that dude blocked me too, by the way, whoever I quote tweeted. I quote tweeted somebody complaining about Cyberpunk 2077. I said, why would you waste your time and money playing a video game when you could be, and like the next tweet was like, when you could be a cyberpunk in real life. It was a failed joke. It was after RHR.
You were a little bit drunk.
A little toasty.
I always come out swinging on fucking Twitter after RHR.
Right.
And then, yeah, sometimes I forget to upload the files to you and you have to hit me on Twitter.
Somebody get Matt. I need the file.
But I like used my own, I practiced self-control. The freaks should know I practiced self-control the other day because you posted the Mint Gox episode about 3 days after you attacked gamers. So I was just gonna.
You should have listened to it because we talked about that tweet in the episode.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna post your tweet. Underneath the tweet. I was like, nope, not gonna do it. I'll just click retweet and like, and then I carried on. I was like, Matt, I got to tell the freaks about this self-control I had.
For the brand. Thank you. Yes, it was a bad joke. Looking back, it was a little tipsy, and joke didn't land as well as I thought it was going to. But
I mean, full disclosure, I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. It's a
is it
pretty good
good?
game.
What's the so I talked about it with the McGox crew.
There's like a bunch of Karens that are just like freaking out that this
Well,
game didn't meet their expectations.
well,
And
apparently
then
it's
CD Projekt Red, the developers, made the age old mistake of they took the bait and they said that anyone who wanted to could cancel, and that it just blew up. They admitted fault.
isn't it like really bad on PlayStation or something like that?
It's like worse on the older consoles and it's better on PC and the newer consoles. Like this is how physics works. Like like what'd you expect? Why'd you pre-order the fucking game? Why didn't you wait until people played it and then gave actual reviews before you bought the fucking thing? It's like this is what we talk about, personal responsibility. It's just super infuriating.
Did you give yourself a big dick in the game?
I'm not like a customer character, like customization guy. I just like clicked right through that. Like people spend hours on that shit.
Yeah. It's I haven't been gaming. I haven't gamed in a while. I do appreciate gaming, and I do see myself gaming in the future. I do want to check out a McGox tournament at some point. I need to get a better computer. I described this. We talked about the Go check out the McGox episode. Really good episode.
Listen to it. Apologies,
yeah.
freaks.
Simon Cowell, the guy from American Idol, is really into Bitcoin now. Actually, yeah, I see when my son gets older, potentially sons and daughters as well. I think I'll start gaming more because that's actually some of my fondest memories growing up playing Turok. My dad loved Turok on N64. You know that game, like you run around killing dinosaurs and stuff like that.
Yes, the classic.
Yeah, we love that game. My dad really loved that game for some reason.
I don't know why he wasted his time playing video games
when he could have been chasing dinosaurs in real life. See, that does not apply. We've got before we forget, we've got to get the shout outs. First one, short and simple. Best location to start a Citadel? Question. I'll go first. By the sea. I don't know exactly where. I'm going to say by the sea. I need my Citadel by an ocean. I need a beach. I need waves. I need sun. I need that vitamin D. Nothing better than a beach vibe. I don't know exactly where yet, though.
Texas coast.
No, Galveston doesn't have good enough waves.
Really? There's no surfing down there?
You got like the drillers in the coast, like messing up the... And yeah, and it's like the Gulf of Mexico is you're looking south, so you don't get like a sunrise or a sunset.
I mean, they definitely have better waves than fucking Wyoming.
Obviously.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Are you a snowboarder? Do you snowboard?
Yeah, I have in the past. I haven't done it in a while.
So you could always do mountains and snowboard instead.
I need the ocean. I need the heat. I need to be able to take my shirt off. All that stuff.
Well, freak, you're never going to get an honest discussion about this unless we're in person, because I'm not going to talk about it on air.
I answered like a true pro. Do you have a climate that you prefer?
Probably Antarctica. I really like the super cold. No, I mean I like island. But I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that off. But my ideal is like your island lifestyle that you lived for a month there. Like that's what it's about. That view you had. Like I wish we were live for that, even though your connection fucking sucked. The view behind Marty for those 4 weeks of episodes was fucking insane. It was just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it was. I miss it. It was fun. Yeah, I'm blocks away from a beach right now, but it's cold. The Northeast gets 4 seasons.
I kind of like the idea of seasteading, but like
seasteading sounds terrible. I would never want to I would never want to seastead. That sounds terrible.
You want to be by the sea, but not on the sea.
Yeah, I want to be by the sea and also be able to look behind me, walk on land.
What about Michael Saylor's strategy? He's got his seven yachts.
Yachts are cheesy. Not a big yacht fan either.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Come on the pod. We'll discuss it, Mike.
Mike, if you're listening, I know you're watching right now, you sick fuck. We're gonna help you sell some of your yachts for sats. Not that you need any more, but why not squeeze it all out?
You know what the freaks have realized this live stream?
What do you mean?
The reason I get so much drunker than you on the pod is because I actually drink, and you don't actually take any sips.
Father, I have to put my child to bed after this. I have to interact with him, give him a bath. I'm whining and dining my wife tonight.
I wonder if any of a hot date. I wonder if any of the freaks are playing that drinking game that Evil Preston tweeted out.
Shout out Evil Preston. My son's taking a nap right now, so we'll see if rule number 9 gets initiated. You guys are safe for now.
Well, rule number 9 is like if baby Marty enters, you have to finish the bottle or something like that.
Five drinks, which is the most, I believe, outside of like a shot. Which I don't know what the shot rule is. We've got 6 shout outs, Sketzer. Here's shout out number 2.
Okay. Sorry.
Uncle Marty and Matt in ep number 212 at the 1 hour mark. Keith Levine suggested that the TFTC YouTube channel become an aggregator of community generated content. This resonated with me because earlier this week, I wrote, recorded, and edited my own video tutorial for using an open dime. I'm giving the pre-coiners of my life an open dime and a QR code to my video. While Matt's open dime video is popular, I couldn't imagine anyone on my gift list actually being excited about Bitcoin while watching it on Christmas Day. He's coming at you, Matt. Keith has the right idea. Your expertise is better leveraged by telling the noobs what they should pay attention to. I hope Keith takes you up on your offer. Merry Christmas, freaks. And what a year to be a Bitcoiner. He just called you the fuck out, dude. Are you okay? Are you okay over there?
I zoned out a tiny bit. I appreciate you, freak. I didn't realize you were coming at me like that. My open dime video, if you're watching this through YouTube, after this show, go, and you haven't seen the open dime video. I have 2, first of all. One is for the Uncle Jims, and then one is specifically for the people receiving the gifts. And I legit, I go, congratulations, you just got some Bitcoin. You know,
I love that video.
I try and get super excited for them.
I think that's our most popular video on YouTube, actually.
Ridiculous. You know why I created that video? Because I was giving people open dimes and they kept calling me, asking me how to redeem them. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just put it on the YouTube. And now I just send them a link. I send them a link to TFTC's YouTube.
Matt, I want you to know that I'm very happy with your video content, your tutorials. I've used your graphene tutorial to set my Pixel 4 up. All right, next shout out. You know what, freaks? Let's be like, hey, you want to get content on the site? Maybe try to be nice.
I like the idea of user content on tftc.io.
I do as well. Really looking forward to your Marty Bent Matt Odell Bitcoin annual golf outing.
I love this guy. This guy is the fucking best.
Love your ideas of raising money for developers. I'm sure with Matt's charming, salty personality, many will line up to donate to this. You're getting shit on today. To this brilliant space, always keeping it moving forward. You are a majestic ringleader. Thank you for the education you are instilling in all us. You guys are the best. Thank you for all you both do. At MSCHU68. Hey, I only know by at symbols. I can't think of your first name off the top of my list, but at MSCHU68. Stop thrusting a golf tournament on me. I have a lot on my plate. I can't just like pick up and plan a golf tournament. Matt,
I'll run the golf tournament.
If you want to run the golf tournament, I can't run a golf tournament right now.
I'll run the golf tournament.
It's not in my bandwidth at the moment.
This freak, who also does not, he's got good OPSEC. He doesn't actually have his name on Twitter. His bio on Twitter, I just clicked to his Twitter, his bio is watching Matt and Marty create an annual Marty Bent and Matt Odell Bitcoin golf outing. It's like literally in his bio on Twitter. He's trying to meme this into reality. I am down to make this happen. I love the determination. I love the consistency, and I want to hear from all the freaks out there that are golfers that also want to make this happen. And we can raise some money for Bitcoin developers, and we can be degenerate gamblers at the same time, and we can get charming and salty together, which I thought were antonyms, but I'm excited for it. We'll get fucking trashed and we'll gamble. And
I'm only going if it's at Pine Valley.
Which course is Pine Valley?
It's like the best one in Jersey, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't want to dox my favorite course in Jersey, but I think it's better.
Is that where you played your member guest earlier this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got fucking wrecked.
That seemed like a very good time. Matt was sharing videos from
The
that
course we
weekend.
played with Rod was fucking lit.
Olympic Club, fucking
Was it? Is it called Olympic Club?
yeah, yeah.
Olympic Club, yeah.
I still have my 3/4
In
up.
San Fran.
Yes, we played both courses too. We played 36 holes that day. That was
I
insane.
was so drunk that day, they almost refused to allow me to get on the flight because I went straight from the golf to the flight.
Yeah, that was a way to end a week. That was the same week I found out my wife was pregnant with our son.
It was one of the reasons I got so drunk. Full
Right.
disclosure.
By the way, like thinking back on that, Rod, I gifted you like a bottle of Pinot Noir from when we were in wine country. I don't think that's sufficient for the hospitality you showed us at the Olympic Club that day. Be on the lookout for something else when I think of it.
Rodolfo is coming at me in the Twitter comments about saying that real Bitcoiners rent instead of own. And you said Bitcoiners get cheap mortgages to speculate attack the US dollar.
They get those home equity lines of credit.
I mean, look, that's one thing if you already own the home, but I'm pretty sure if you reduce your short-term expenditures by renting instead of owning and you're young, then you could get more sats that way than if you own.
Yeah.
You need a down payment. You need fucking put some money up front. If you know, on the Arbed Out episode, I was complaining about how my annual worth, my sats per year, the amount of sats I could bring in keeps going down every year. Price your rent in sats, and then you'll feel good.
I like that.
It's just going straight down. It's going number go down.
That's a number you want to see go down. All right, next shout out. Merry Christmas, Marty, Matt, and Freaks. I've been pumping the festive music since Halloween this year, and these two lines from one of my favorite keep ringing in my head. And Thrill of Hope, and I don't know what song this is from, so I can't sing the tune, so I'm just going to imagine it. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder's break a new and glorious morn. Change shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Here's to our best days being ahead of us as we keep fighting the good fight. Hope Santa is good to the freaks. Your friend, Serpent Dove. Shout out to Serpent Dove. Thank you for the shout out. Appreciate it. Ooh. Now, did the shout out happen live on air?
Huh?
Might have happened.
Huh?
I think we just got one.
I like that. That's a cool aspect of the live show.
No, we didn't.
Ah, fuck. Marty's the worst, man.
This one's short and simple. Last one. Merry Christmas, freaks. Enjoy a bottle on me from at NCKBDC. Shout out, Nick. Thank you for listening. Love you, brother.
Oh, thank Nick. I'm in Nick's
fantasy league. How you doing?
Oh, destroyed.
So
absolutely destroyed.
Did I see Nick Carter beat Alex Gladstein this week?
Yeah, the funniest part about a Bitcoiner fantasy league is the buy-in was 1 million sats. So like at the beginning of the season, it was like $80, and now it's $250.
Expensive.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I made sure to replenish my sats in the beginning, just to be sure, because you don't want to be short the corn in any kind of way ever.
No, especially in a high stakes league.
But I mean, it was hard for me to, I'm in 3 fantasy leagues and to pick them, and it's just hard for me. It was hard for me to get excited about. Call me an old timer, but like football with an empty stadium, while like the whole world was just getting like forced into a pod, was just like not entertaining to me.
No,
it's like the curtain had been pulled, and Bitcoin just takes over so much
time.
Mental capacity.
This was the first time in my family fantasy league that I was the best. I was number 1 in the league all year. And then my uncle just beat me by 2 points, and I left so many points on the bench. It was fucking not fun. And then my uncle texting me, like rubbing it in my face. Thanks. All right, back to the list. The list is like relatively short this week compared to the last 2 weeks, but
we have a short week and it's a holiday week, so people aren't really announcing things.
It's true. But it's like the content is, as you freaks may have noticed up to this point, a great conversation starter. Long conversations. Nigeria is now the second biggest Paxful Bitcoin market after the United States. It's pretty big news. So, QZ Quartz, they had an article out about this. I saw Jack, our boy Jack, tweeted out
It
last
was a
week.
fucked up headline originally.
Yeah,
I changed the headline.
yeah, because they said it was like the second most
Largest
usually.
Bitcoin market.
Yeah, but it's Paxful.
Second largest Paxful Bitcoin market.
Yeah.
It's very different.
So for any of you freaks who aren't aware or maybe new to this show and the Bitcoin world, Paxful is a P2P Bitcoin exchange where individuals can put offers up and exchange Bitcoin for cash with each other, or they don't even need cash. They could use gift cards. And,
I think gift cards is the most common.
Yeah, gift card. Yeah. So Matt Alborg, who's been on the show a couple times, he's done a lot of incredible research on this, and he actually called this trend earlier this year. But yeah, in light of the SARS movement of the banks shutting down the ability for Nigerians to raise money to protest against the government this year with the movement, the SARS movement particularly, they've been moving to Bitcoin in mass, and that has led them to number 2 on the Paxful volume list. It's pretty massive, and it shows that Bitcoin works for the people who need it. These people got deplatformed by their banking system, and they were able to turn to Bitcoin and start raising money, and they've led successful protests, or they've been putting up a fight because of Bitcoin, whereas they would have been completely demonetized and stripped of the ability to receive and then spend money. Bitcoin fixes this.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple things. Extremely bullish to see this kind of on the ground usage of Bitcoin in Nigeria. And it's used as proper dissident tech. You know, they were cut off from those financial platforms, and then they used BTC Pay Server, and no one could block them easily. So that's really fucking cool. The second thing with Nigeria is that it's a major remittance country, and that's what Matt was always covering, Matt Alborg, which is like this idea that they're sending money from the United States to Nigeria, and
there's a lot of Nigerians in the U.S.
Right, and he would talk about like if the volatility didn't matter as much, because if the traditional platforms were taking 30%, 40% cut, like you could take a hit on volatility and still end up on top.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is this SARS movement has nothing to do with SARS or COVID, the virus or COVID.
Yes, we should be clear.
Which is confusing, because that's what I originally, when I saw the hashtag like
really?
4 weeks ago. I mean, that's the only SARS I know, right? And like COVID is technically like SARS something, right?
Yes.
Like SARS COVID-19 or something.
Yeah.
So like the whole world is like in pandemic lockdown, and there's a movement called like the SARS movement, you know, and it stands for like their political police or something, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Like they're Stasi.
Yeah. Yes, has nothing to do with the virus. It is about the political movement and their fight, because it's getting very authoritarian there. Has been for a while. If any of you freaks, again, I think we threw this out there this summer when the movement started. If any of you Nigerian freaks out there want to reach out and give us some more color on this particular situation and get us some first person stories about what's actually going on the ground, DMs are open, emails available. We'd love to hear it. Yeah, come on the pod as well. The platform is open. I don't like
come to the golf outing.
Come to the golf outing. Talk about clickbait. You have a clickbait in the list today.
What?
Bitmain civil war escalates. This isn't an escalation. This is a de-escalation.
I mean, that's my title.
I know. Yeah, it's clickbait.
Is that clickbait?
I think so.
I thought it was cheeky. I thought it was salty and charming.
It's misleading. It's clickbait. So, for you freaks that don't know, Bitmain, large mining company, builder of the Antminer series, the S9 is considered the AK-47 of the Bitcoin mining industry. It's been around since 2016. Maybe before that, 2015, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe even, 2015. Regardless, they created great machines. Jihan Wu, their frontman CEO, got a little power hungry. They decided to back Bitcoin Cash, failed miserably. They have had an internal battle between Jihan Wu and Jean, who was the co-founder. Over the last few years, one has been holding the chip manufacturing hostage, while the other has been holding the actual machine manufacturing hostage. And they've had these internal battles. The S17, S15, S17 series have really struggled, I believe, because of this internal struggle and the combination that their best designers left for MicroBT. And so, like, a lot of the S15 and S17 miners that hit the market had high failure rates, and it's just been a whole shit show. And Bitmain's been losing ground to competitors over the last few years due to this internal battle. There was a point earlier this year where I believe Jihan Wu's team went and physically stole a business license from Team Jean, and it was capture the flag governance, and it's really been something in the mining industry. It's what the hell is going on with Bitmain? When are they going to solve this? Well, it seems like they've officially solved it, and they're going to spin off some of the operations and each go their separate way. Jihan's going to get some, and Jean's going to get the other. So
it seems like an escalation to me, Marty.
No, I think it's over. They're going their separate ways.
It's not over. Has it ended yet?
If they're each spinning out their things and going their separate ways, then
a spin-off seems like that seems like a major escalation to me.
No, that seems like an ending. All right, because originally it was going to be a buyout, from what I understand. Jean or Jian Wu was attempting to buy out the other party, and they were in a stalemate. The other, I forget exactly which way that transaction was going to go, but the other was holding ground, being no, this is not going to happen. We're just going to drive this business into the ground. So they spun out, broke down and spun out different lines of the business, each getting some. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who gets exactly what, but I would say this is. But
Zahn is borrowing money to do the spinoff. It's the same thing as before, right?
I believe he is
I'm reading the article right now. It says he's borrowing $600 million to buy out Wu's ownership stake.
Yeah, but he's pledging shares. Yeah, so this is who
and
gets.
It's fucking with their IPO too. They were about to IPO.
Their IPO was fucked from Jump Street because of what's been going on. I don't think it's an escalation. I would say it's a de-escalation. A little bit more
fair. I was clickbaity.
It's more clarity. It's more clarity for the mining industry, at least. All right, now this, at least part of this conflict has been resolved. Whether or not each party's happy, I don't know for sure, but a decision has been made. It's not the stalemate anymore. Something has happened.
So I don't know if we should give them a free ad, but when we do a live stream and a company successfully memes off that live stream, I feel like they deserve it. And right now, Fold app is offering 18% off Callaway, 18% sats back off of Callaway, and they're calling it the Matt Odell special. Full disclosure, I bought a new driver using this sats back 4 months ago or 5 months ago when they first signed up Callaway. So if you're a Bitcoin golfer out there, fucking 18% sats back on fucking Callaway is
hey, Will and Crew,
not the best driver, but it's fucking 18% sats back.
Will and Crew, I'm a Titleist man. Where's that Titleist deal? That's what I want to see.
The Marty Ben special. Let's go, Will. Make it happen.
Yeah. Use this clip, send it to them. Hey, Titleist, if you're listening, and Fold is showing you this video, Marty would use that sat back deal to buy a Titleist driver. Actually, I like Titleist wedges more. Ping drivers are actually surprisingly very good from my experience.
I own a Callaway driver now only because of that offer. I think it was even higher when they first launched. I think it was 25% or 20%. And Bitcoin was at $4,000. So it was a very profitable driver for me. And right now, I'll admit that it's because of ownership bias. But if anyone ever asks me in the future, it's the best driver. And it's only because of my bias. Whatever driver I have is the best driver. I'm going to fucking own this thing for 6 years. I can't buy a fucking new one. They're so fucking expensive.
Yeah, and people get very particular about their drivers.
Such an expensive sport. I think it's mostly bullshit. Like
Yeah,
you're not going to get it in the hole in enough shots to be any good. You just go out there and just have the drinks and have a good time. Like you can just walk around with sticks and you'd be fine. Like you don't need nice clubs.
yeah, you're more into the sport than I am.
Stack sats instead.
Yeah, stack sats.
You
I
just
play
need the etiquette. As long as you have the etiquette and you look like a golfer, you'll get invited to like all the nice clubs, and then you're good. Like you shouldn't pay for membership. You shouldn't pay for nice clubs. And you should just have a good time. That's the golf motto.
You have an etiquette. Don't walk on people's putting lines.
Yeah.
Make sure you're using your divot fixer. Make sure you're filling your divots in with sand. Don't talk in somebody's backstroke. Shirts tucked in. Be cognizant of what club you're at. Each club has different rules. Some of them more strict than others. Microstrategy. Can't stop stacking corn, baby.
Fucking did it.
You did it. And hey, am I allowed to tell the freaks what you said to me earlier today?
Maybe not. I don't know what I said to you earlier.
Microsale has been growing on you.
Oh. I go back and forth. It depends on the day.
Yeah. But, all right, so.
How about 1 second? While you're going to bring that up. I don't have it on the list, but the Elon meme and Saylor jumping in there and like throwing his dick around and being like, "Oh, Elon, like I just bought $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Like you should get off of zero." Is fucking fire. Like that is fucking fire.
That meme was vulgar.
It was a fucking great meme.
I know. It was.
Literally laughed my ass off when I saw it. Second richest man in the world.
Right. Is he? Elon's number 2?
Yeah, because Tesla's like the only. Did you see? So Saylor also released a website, strategy.com, because he's got a fucking domain hodling issue.
It takes one to know one.
To absolutely 100. That's why I switched to hodling. Hoarding domains is using domains. It's important. Strategy.com lists the S&P 500 and whether or not, like, how bad they did against Bitcoin over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
It's like only Tesla and one other company have outperformed. Oh, and so that's the thing, right? I want freaks should be better reply guys. Like if you're trolling Elon or you're trolling Portnoy, you can't troll them on have fun staying poor. Both of their stocks that they hold the majority of their net worth in have outperformed Bitcoin. Penn is
outperforming?
Yeah, and Tesla has outperformed Bitcoin. So you can't hit them with that.
Damn.
You got to hit them with a smart man would take profits into Bitcoin. Like you have this you have this company that you're obviously a whole hog into. Consider taking some profits into the best money we've ever had.
I would agree.
Right? Like that you got to be tactical with how you employ that.
Yes. And yeah, don't tell Elon Musk to have fun staying poor. That's just
there were so many people who told him that. Well, because he had that other tweet that he was like, Bitcoin is almost as bullshit as fiat, which is an endorsement.
Almost.
It's an endorsement.
It's better. It's an improvement over fiat, at least in that context.
He also pumped Doge 20%, though. He
Elon.
tweeted out one word, Doge.
Yeah, because he knows he has that influence. Elon, if you're listening, Great American Mining is very excited for Starlink. Keep bumping us, bump us up the list, please.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah, come on the pod.
Come to the golf outing.
Yeah, hey, I know you're a golfer. Love that shit. Yeah, Elon. Like we can talk about energy and Bitcoin merging. How Bitcoin, like we can talk about Dhruv Bansal's Bitcoin astronomy pieces and how you actually, if you want the Martians and the Terrans to transact with each other, something like Bitcoin needs to exist. You're not going to be able to PayPal each other from Mars. I know you're listening. Think about it. Back to the topic at hand is MicroStrategy and why we brought them up. They officially announced earlier this week that they finalized the issuance of the bonds that they announced a couple weeks ago or last week got the cash, and acquired the Bitcoin, secured the bag. So as of December 21st, 2020, MicroStrategy holds an aggregate of approximately 70,470 Bitcoins, which are required at an aggregate purchasing price of approximately 1.125 billion, with an average price of $15,964. So he's not too far from being 100% up on the what's the term I'm looking for? The cost basis of all the Bitcoin that he's bought up to this point, that MicroStrategy has bought as a company. So that's pretty massive.
Yeah, he got
He's up 50% right now on the cost basis.
He got a better price than I expected.
Right,
it appeared that the price kind of ran away from him when he after he announced. It's funny with these guys that they have to basically announce ahead of time.
It's the aggregate cost basis of the buys he made earlier this year plus the buys he made last week.
Right, but even the buys he made last week, he got at an average cost of under $22,000.
Yes, that is true. Yeah,
which is a great price.
21,925. Yeah,
that's a great price.
Yeah,
right. What are we at right now? 23.5.
Damn.
Right. He's already up $1,500 of Bitcoin. He's already up per Bitcoin what Tone was calling as the bottom of this cycle.
Hey, leave Tone alone. Why'd you bring Tone? Tone didn't ask for this.
I don't know. I heard 1,500. I'm a simple man. I heard 1,500. I thought Hyperwave.
Love you, Tone. Yeah, MicroStrategy stacking sats, tens of thousands. And that's the one thing I wanted to mention. He was on Michael Saylor making it draw me. I think the way he described Bitcoin this yesterday morning was beautiful. Bitcoin's not a bubble. It's a chain reaction. I think that description of what's happening with individuals and Bitcoin at this current moment is an incredible way to describe it. It's a chain reaction, freaks. Once you get the virus, the virus is spreading. Do you think Pomp will ever tweet that again?
I think it's super awkward after what happened in 2020. I think it's partially Pomp's fault. I mean, to be honest. People don't give him enough shit about it.
Maybe Pomp's a spook and he was trying to warn all of us and he's like a double agent.
I'm down with it. Put his feet in cement, throw him off the dock.
No. You tried to help us.
I thought
he was warning us. Spooks. No, we're not. It's Pomp. We're not going to cement shoe you to the Mississippi. Don't worry. Time to get to software updates. I think the first one's a pretty big one. Again, Boy Jack tweeted about them earlier today. Blue Wallet version 6.0.1 has been released. Anything major in this update? Before I pull up the release notes and make myself look like
I think it was mostly bug fixes with their most recent multi-sig. Like they didn't have the batch send set up properly and stuff like that.
Okay.
I imagine the next couple of releases at Blue Wallet is going to be them ironing out the multi-sig. Okay. Shout out to Blue Wallet for getting a shout out from Jack. Like that's a nice little bump for a fucking wallet.
Yeah, it's pretty massive.
He tweeted them out for people who don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, he did. Eclair version 0.5.0 has been released. So that's a major release, I would imagine. Major changes. Cluster mode Eclair now allows you to scale up one logical lightning node across multiple servers. That seems like a pretty big deal. They have blockchain watchdogs. Is this Watchtower? Is this what Eclair is calling watchtowers?
I don't know.
Fetches Bitcoin headers. So they're just adding multiple data sources to fetch Bitcoin headers to determine whether
Eclair, right?
Yeah. This is a way to determine whether or not nodes are being eclipsed. They're going to pull from multiple data sources, one of which mempool.space. Shout out mempool.space. Big fans of them. Blockstream.info is the other, and blockchainheaders.net over headers over DNS is the other source. So 3 sources they're going to pull headers from to make sure that their nodes aren't being eclipsed, which is a pretty big deal. Eclipse attacks are what people worry about a lot, especially with Lightning. Because if you get your node eclipse attacked, you don't know you're being force closed and you have no recourse there. That's what I imagine that's for, correct?
Eclipse attacks are like one of my favorite attacks.
Yeah. Would you want to describe it an eclipse attack to any freaks who may be new to
This
Bitcoin?
is like the main thing that this is like not the main thing, but the coolest part of the Blockstream satellite to me, because the dirty simple way of explaining an eclipse attack is that all the nodes you connect to are malicious nodes and they feed you bad information. So the way to avoid that is to have a second source of truth. And one of the easy ways to do that is to have a separate node that's running through Tor, because it's harder to eclipse attack an onion node that's running through Tor only. And it's very difficult to eclipse both of them. But with Blockstream Satellite, you automatically have this second source of truth. So, I mean, obviously, like, you shouldn't just only trust the Blockstream Satellite. But if you have both, you can protect yourself very cheaply from anywhere around the world. Yeah, and cheaply and easily. And we saw an eclipse attack happen on ETC, Ethereum Classic, the original Ethereum chain, to Coinbase. Coinbase got eclipse attacked. And so if you're a public node, like if someone can figure out what Coinbase's node is, obviously you become a bigger target. You know, no one's going to eclipse attack Marty. Like, that's like ridiculous, right? But if there's a public exchange node and they know they're only running one node and they're like so stretched thin because they have 1 million shitcoins they're supporting, then they become like a really good target. Yeah, there you go. Eclipse attacks 101.
Yeah, eclipse attacks are pretty fascinating.
And then we had that one, I forget what they were calling it, but that it was like eclipse attack on the ISP level, right? Where they like just cut off an ISP. So that one ISP is just like if your whole internet service provider is just
I believe this was
bad data.
Believe this was the Erebus attack.
I think that I don't know. That was one of the attacks. All the names get fucked up in my head, but
I'm looking this up right now.
But that one was fun as fuck. Like,
but that was cool. That was if you had, so if you're running a node using one ISP and all your connected nodes were using the same ISP, technically that ISP could see that action going on. Yeah, and the ISP could, you don't pick the, yeah, so the Erebus attacker ISP's goal is to isolate one or more. And so Glenn Almenko and Peter Woola worked on fixing this, and they fixed it with, I'm trying to think of what the solution was to it.
But like you could have used a Blockstream satellite, and if you compare the two, you'd be good.
Now, this is why I love tftc.io tags. I can type in Erebus attack and see what I've written about it. Erebus attack. Because now it's going to annoy me if I don't figure out the solution.
I agree with you, Mellow15N01. It was funny telling Elon to have fun staying poor. It just was not accurate. Yes.
Yeah. ASMAP, ASMAP is what they added to core version 0.20.0, or I guess we just say 20.0 now. Is that correct?
Yeah, we just jumped. Well, I don't think.
So they make sure you're connected to.
Pushed yet, right?
Has it? I don't know.
It's merged, but that release hasn't been released yet.
Yeah, so they're going to drop the 0 from the front of core releases.
Not priced in.
ASMAP is what is used to defend against potential Erebus attacks, and it makes sure that you're connected to nodes from different ISPs. So you'd have to have those ISPs coordinating to eclipse attack you, which is less likely than one doing it. That was like the most technical I've gotten on this podcast in a while. I'm very proud of myself.
Super exciting.
Right. Shout out.
Just to be clear for the freaks, like, I think Elon has a massive bag of Bitcoin. I've been saying this for a while. Since like I think he stocked up in like 2018 is my guess. And I think he's got like a decent fucking bag.
It would make sense, right? Like, wasn't that the original view of PayPal? Like what they wanted to do?
Yeah. And like, you don't post, like, people don't post Dogecoin memes unless they're a Bitcoiner.
Right. Yeah.
Like, routinely.
Or that meme he posted last week, like, it was perfect Bitcoin meme. And you suffer from that problem more than anybody I know.
What, Dogecoin memes?
No, being able to pay attention to what you're supposed to be paying attention to because of what Bitcoin's doing.
There you go. I got distracted.
Right. Pretty big news. You guys have been waiting for it. Team at Unchained and CoinKite have delivered. Caravan adds PSBT support, and Cold Card officially joins Caravan. I believe you were able to do it via the vaults initially, but now it's officially in Caravan, which is their open source implementation of their vaults.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I think they already had support for it in Unchained's proper product, but not in Caravan.
Yes. So if you go to caravanmultisig.com and select wallet, you can add a Cold Card wallet to a Caravan. So if you don't want Unchained,
specifically in air gap mode, which is dope.
Yeah, PSBT. If you don't want Unchained involved,
PSBT is good in general because all these wallets should just support PSBT. Like there should be we should be able to have like random ass wallets that like no one really knows about that just have full support in all these software libraries because they use the PSBT standard. So like Caravan shouldn't have to update for every fucking wallet, every hardware wallet. Which really we shouldn't even be calling them hardware wallets. In the multi-sig era, they're more signers. I think like signers is a better term. It's not a perfect term. You know, there's a lot of better terms we could have than hardware wallet, I think. But you can have signers from all around the world, from all different manufacturers, and the individual software libraries don't have to update if they're all just use the partially signed Bitcoin transaction standard.
Yes. Shout out Andrew Chow for working on that. I saw some activity on the Bitcoin dev list around that this week. And shout out to Steve Myers and the Bitcoin developer kit. They made a big announcement this week, and we didn't have it on the list. So I'm going to pull it up right now.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, because I want to talk about what I wrote about in the Bent today.
BDK. Well, we have that on the list, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, so the Bitcoin dev kit team announced version 0.2.0 of the main BDK Rust library, featuring a lot of new features and improvements. These guys have been working on it for quite some time. Shout out to Square Crypto and a few others. I can only say Square Crypto off the top of my mind because that's the only one I'm sure of for giving grants out to the developers working on this particularly. But yeah, a bunch of new stuff in the Bitcoin development kit, which is a project aiming to standardize a lot of the wallet making process for teams working on wallets out there, so that they can do what Matt just described, and that is communicate with each other regardless of which wallet it is. So key generation's new, generic key types, descriptor templates have been added, easier creation of blockchain and database. There's a descriptor macro, and a bunch of other stuff. You freaks know I'm terrible at reading release notes, so I'll put this link in Matt and I's Telegram chat right now, so I add it to the notes so you can read it yourself, because I am dumb. And I am dumb. And shout out to Ben the Carman for calling me out on this, because I blew my load a little too early. But this morning I wrote about the blog post that Shortbits, the team at Shortbits, released, particularly Nadav Cohen, who's been working on, the whole team at Shortbits has been working on this, but Nadav specifically has been very focused on discrete lock contracts and bringing products to market for Bitcoiners so that they can leverage discrete lock contracts, which are a more private and scalable way to do smart contracts. And they announced that they successfully created a stablecoin using a discrete lock contract earlier this week. Roman, which I don't know if it's Roman from Hodl Hodl. Did you assume that as well? Did you read that blog post yet?
I don't think it is. My guess would be there just are many Romans, Marty.
My bad.
Yeah, continue. I mean, just to push back, stablecoin's the wrong word too, I think.
It's technically a...
There's no coin.
No, exactly. Well, so we're going to get into the nuance of this, but that's the beauty of it. It makes it even better. So it's a contract for difference. That's what they're calling it, right? And what this contract for difference, it allows two parties to engage in a discrete lock contract. And the purpose of this discrete lock contract is so that one party is able to lock in a stable amount of US dollars in Satoshis, and the other party is able to go naturally long Bitcoin at the same time. And so what you have is two counterparties. The one who wants to maintain a stable amount of US dollar value in Bitcoin because they want to skirt the volatility. They enter into the contract, say it's $22.80, and for the length of that contract, they will always hold $22.80 worth of Bitcoin in that. So depending on the price, the other person in that contract would be naturally long. So they believe the price of Bitcoin is going to go up. And basically what's going to happen if the price of Bitcoin goes up, the person looking for the stable value is going to give Satoshis to the other person, their counterpart. And so the person who's long the Bitcoin price, so they're going to get sats. That person's going to have a stable value. And if the price goes down, it's the opposite. The person who's betting on the Bitcoin price going up is giving the person looking for stable value sats so that they maintain that US dollar value over the course of the contract. Very, very rudimentary right now, very simple, not really complex, and only two individuals can enter in this from what I believe at any given point in time in any one particular CFD. But Nadav says in the future, and this is where I fucked up. I said it's on the Lightning Network now. It's not. It will be in the future once DLCs come to the Lightning Network. And in the future, they hope to make it so that you can trade these CFDs and transfer them, creating so the transfer of the CFDs would equate to a stable coin, if you will. And the beauty of it is you don't need a new token. It's all done on Bitcoin within this contract. You don't need to spin up a Tether or a DAI or a USDC, whatever it may be. You're just interacting with a discrete log contract that on one side of the contract maintains that value over the course of the contract, which is a very creative and fascinating way to solve this particular problem.
I mean, I think this is pretty cool. We kind of saw this in a more trust required way. If you like,
BitMEX.
if you do, you do like a 1-to-1 short on BitMEX, and then you kind of have you don't have the Bitcoin volatility, but instead you add trusted third party risk, right? And in this case, you don't have that trusted third party risk, but you add less liquidity, is my assumption. It'll be harder to find liquidity in this kind of environment.
Until that contract's tradable, at which point I would imagine more liquidity
one thing
will come.
I want to mention here is CFDs are not like a new financial concept. I'm pretty sure it's part of the reason the 2008 financial collapse happened and they got banned afterwards in America.
Really? Go into this. I was not aware of this.
I'm pretty sure Dodd-Frank bans contract for differences.
This would be news to me. Can any freaks in the comments? I can't see the comments, by the way. So if you guys have been interacting, I have not seen anything.
I have like 3 different comments tabs open right now. So hit us, freaks. Yeah, Dodd-Frank stopped Americans from trading CFDs.
But all right, let's steelman this. These CFDs would be fully collateralized from the onset.
Well, it's because one side is using them for leverage, right? One side is using Bitcoin to go long Bitcoin.
Yes.
So that's the risk.
But it's locked in that contract.
Look, I believe in free markets. So if people want to get wrecked, they have the right to get fucking wrecked. Like I don't believe that we should have Dodd-Frank and shit decide if you have CFDs on Bitcoin. But I just wanted to mention that it's not a new.
But I think that's different. I think again, this is news to me. The CFDs.
This could be one of those moments where we practice my favorite way of learning, which is to say a dumb comment on the pod and get berated by the freaks for days afterwards.
I think you have proof of reserve within the contract, so that's where
the problem is what you said.
What?
You're like, when I said, well, then you have a liquidity issue, and you're like, yeah, but we could trade them. So then you start trading the CFDs, and then people start taking like leverage on the trades and shit. Like you just have this huge thing that you just.
Transfer. I said transfer, not trade. That's the difference.
Oh, I thought you were saying that there'd be like tradable markets of
No,
CFDs to
you
make liquidity.
you transfer the individual contracts. You give up ownership to the next person in line.
In what kind of method? Like in an order book type of method?
No, in like a wallet type of method where hey, you want to spend your
What's the difference
CFD.
between transfer and trade, Marty?
Goddamn brother. Sorry, my brother was FaceTiming me.
Oh wow, I thought we were.
Um,
I consider you a brother, Marty.
I do too. There's a big difference between transfer and a trade. Like you're transferring something. Like, I guess the intention would be the difference. Like you're transferring something to get utility, to get something back in return. Where a trade, in the context that you just brought it up, I would imagine. Again, I could be completely wrong about this. This is just, again, it's my bent, my inclination, the way I'm thinking about it. A trade in the context that you're describing would be to try to get yield out of that contract, where one side is certainly doing that, but it's literally hard programmed into the DLC, where it says if the price of Bitcoin goes down, you have to give up Satoshis to your counterpart so that he maintains his US dollar value amount.
I mean, the simple way that I'm thinking about this, right? Because I read this post. I mean, I read this post by our boys at Shared Bits, and I think as any Bitcoiner who might read the post was like, okay, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So then I read it like 5 more times. And my simple man's explanation of what's going on here is one person reduces their volatility risk, one person increases their volatility risk. Correct.
Yeah, and the risk is confined to the contract.
Right. But it's not, that's, it never it's the beginning of the financialization, right? Like you start there and then you build another contract on top of that and you trade that and you do this and you can do all these different fucking things on top of that. When you're trying to build liquidity and do, like, the reason March 12th happened was because people chose to take on additional risk and reduce others' risk, right? Similar end goal.
Yeah, worst case
this.
scenario.
And then they all got called at the same time,
Yeah,
all the way down.
yeah, that's completely. I mean, that's
Which
the
I'm
risk
cool
you're
with.
willing to take. Yeah, I'm cool with it too.
As long as
That's
people know the trade-offs, like I think people should have the right to get wrecked.
yeah, and that's like one half of the contract is obviously taking on risk to eliminate it for the other person. Like I think
Right.
that's pretty obvious and on the table with the intention of the product, right?
A trust minimized BitMEX is cool, but it does not stop it from being reckless for the people who use it. Right.
No.
That's basically, I think that's a good channeling of what I'm thinking here, right?
Okay.
I think my complaint with this CFD is the same concern I have with something like DAI, but the advantage of the CFD is that it's simpler, and things that are more complex have a lot of more ways that things could go wrong. But it's a similar concern I have, right?
I would argue you have less layered risk than what
Right.
exists in DAI. So
But it's the same. It's a similar concern trajectory of where I am with something like DAI.
Yeah, but it could be, and honestly,
It's like DAI, but with Bitcoin.
Like I say it all this time. Like I have no need for stablecoins. No, it's not like that at all.
It kind of is.
I mean, it kind of is, but it's completely different in the fact that you're not like giving up. You're not giving up.
Collateral is Bitcoin instead of the collateral being ETH. And one side's taking leverage and one side's reducing volatility risk.
Yes, but it's a transfer of sats within the contract, no matter what's going on.
Right.
Like you're not transferring
same
DAI for maker DAI.
With DAI, you're transferring ETH.
Yeah, but no, because you're transferring ETH to a contract that gives you DAI. The DAI gets liquidated, that then your ETH gets liquidated on the back end. It's all sats. And then you have MakerDAO involved in that too. Like there's many more layers of risk.
In the beginning that there's additional complexity, right? But in that situation, the ETH is collateral. In this situation, the Bitcoin's sats are the collateral, right?
Sats are the collateral and the payout and the token. Again, I think this is a huge reduction in risk in that terms.
When someone uses DAI, if there's a margin call, they get paid in ETH. They don't get paid in DAI or Maker or anything. Like they have these other tokens and shit. You know, the DAI is supposed to be the stable thing so they can trade it and have liquidity, and Maker is supposed to be the governance token or whatever. But at the end of the day, if ETH falls in price by half, the person who was the opposite side of the bet receives their ETH as they receive the full collateral as their ETH.
Well,
in this situation, the person on the opposite side of the bet, the person who was saying that I think it's going to go down and I'm hedging my volatility risk, receives sats. So the end result is relatively similar with a way smaller attack surface, way less complexity, 100%.
And less leverage too. Like I don't think this is leveraged at all.
Well, I mean, we can lever the fuck out of this shit.
But it had to be on top of the contract. We're talking about again. We're talking
not
about
necessarily. Why?
Because
why can't you do like 100?
Because the DLC dictates what can happen within it. Why? Yeah, you'd have to create like. Why couldn't you do 100x on it? Like leverage?
Yeah.
I don't know. People smarter than me, team at Short Bits would have to step in here, but I just am very inclined to believe that this is a very large reduction in risk because it's less layered. It's all dealt in sats and everything's fully collateralized from 100%. The onset of everything's fully collateralized from the onset of the contract.
I think it's less risk than the alternatives that exist to reduce your exposure to Bitcoin volatility. Right? So the competitor products to reduce your exposure to Bitcoin volatility have more risk. I think it's significantly more risk than just holding your fucking sats.
I agree.
You know, like what is?
I'm not saying I'm going to use it.
I know, but this idea that volatility of Bitcoin price
people want it
solved is a misnomer to me. This idea that the Bitcoin volatility needs to be solved is the same idea that like proof of work is a problem that needs to be solved to me.
See, I would agree with you there.
I think proof of work is the real innovation, and I think free market price discovery is the real innovation. Like I think the dollar has always been volatile, but we never had a free market that's priced against it to show the volatility.
Hey, I'm directly aligned with you there. I completely agree with everything you just said. I don't plan on using these products. The point of bringing it up is the market obviously wants these products in some way or form, particularly in LATAM or Africa. We've had Matt Alborg on. He's described that a lot of individuals in Latin America particularly want to use stablecoins to, especially in bear markets, to hedge against price volatility. I'm a hodler. I'm stacking in rack and in cold storage. But there's some people out there, again, it's a very American view. Very American view. No, but I agree with you there. I'm like, if you're willing to wait, it depends on your time horizon, right? Like between December 2017 and March of this year, like this would be a good product for people trying to hedge downside price risk. And
from December 2017?
Yeah, the price
because we're like about even.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, until March of this year. Like when you had
but if you jumped into it in March, you know, like there's this. It's
this exactly
weird thing. What?
Exactly. Like it's like trying to utilize these products. It's trying to you're trying to time the market then too, which is not advisable, but it is the argument to be made that that's a beneficial product during that time period is pretty strong in my opinion.
There's this weird thing that people think like a currency needs to be like 100% fucking stable to be a proper currency. I would argue that the major issue with volatility is downside. So I'd prefer a currency that was designed to pump forever. I don't need a stable coin I would like a currency that increased in purchasing power year after year, and that's called Bitcoin. Like that is
Well,
the innovation.
I agree. But again, with the small intra 18-month periods where it doesn't go up for people who need it to be somewhat stable or at least appreciating to the upside, this makes sense. And I'm not here to defend the product. I think it's cool. I think it proves that anything that these shitcoins are saying they can do that Bitcoin can't will eventually come to Bitcoin in a better way too. I think
In a
this is,
better way. The key is the better way. It's
yeah,
cleaner.
it's much cleaner. And that was Uncle Matt and Marty tiffing a little bit. I hope you freaks enjoyed it.
That's what they look like live.
Ripple.
We got to talk about this.
Obviously.
Our boy Brad Garlinghouse
What a chode.
finally getting what was coming to him.
What a fucker.
Uh,
Paying for fucking China runs Bitcoin. Proof of work is evil. You're getting
literally just they like. I just want to be 100% clear here. I do not want the U.S. government regulate like choosing winners and losers and putting people out of business and taking down cryptocurrencies. But the playbook
I think
the
I think
playbook of Ripple
cryptocurrencies
Corporation has been to buy our fucking politicians and try and use them against Bitcoin. Like they've been trying to do that. Like they had fucking Ben Lawsky.
I hope that motherfucker gets disbarred. Fuck that
Ben
dude.
Lawsky, fucking the New York Department of Financial Services passed the most onerous anti-Bitcoin bill ever in the bit license in New York, and then left and joined the board of fucking Ripple. They had former
Scumbag.
SEC chair, forget her name,
Mary
was their
Jo.
lawyer. Like they tried to use regulatory capture to attack Bitcoin. And now instead they're getting voted off the island.
I gotta pick
So
up.
I do not support it, but the irony is fucking palpable.
I think Jeremy Rubin had the best tweet about this to highlight like what I want to say. It was a gif from Mean Girls. The one guy sitting in the back saying, "She doesn't even go here." Like Ripple's never been a true cryptocurrency. It's like it's that's like again nuance. Hit your fucking checkerboards, freaks. Finally, if you're waiting for that one, bingo. Not your checkerboards, your bingo boards. There's so much nuance to this where that's like the thing that like skews me. Like Bitcoin's so pure, and all these fucking leeches try to leech onto its brand name and what it's trying to do and be like, oh, I'm like it too. Ripple's nothing like Bitcoin. Never has been, never will be. And like it has like 10 validators. Nick Carter's told us like when they wanted to download the Ripple blockchain, they literally had to mail a physical hard drive to the Coinmetrics offices so that
not a hard drive. It had to be an SSD. So
an SSD.
They mailed them SSDs. Yeah.
Yeah, just like that's how centralized it is. Like if you want to download the Ripple hard drive, email them and ask them to.
Here's the chain. We're gonna FedEx you the chain.
Yeah, it's fucked. But it's literally, and I'm pulling shout out Crypto Cobain. I know we've had our differences on Twitter.com, but you highlighted this particularly, like the meme around Ripple for the last how many ever years has been, we're like getting institutional adoption. We've got so many partnerships. Like everybody's using us. All the big banks.
US approved one.
Yeah, like we're like everybody's using us. And then if you like the SEC, love them or hate them, the one thing that you can appreciate is they get a lot of data, and they in this report particularly, in this complaint against Ripple has a lot of data in it. Probably the most damning being the amount of sales that the Ripple Corporation, so you have to separate Ripple, the corporation, from XRP, the currency. Ripple, the corporation, selling XRP. So if the narratives that they've been putting out there, like, hey, we're corporate approved, we've got all these partnerships, everybody's using us, were true, especially if you're using it as a settlement network in the banking system that settles a lot of money every day, you would expect that their institutional sales to these partners would be higher than the sales to retail investors. And that's just simply not true. Market sales in USD to retail investors is $700 $63,374,578. Institutional investors only $625 million about. So they're literally dumping on retail, and a bunch of people are like, "Oh no, they got all these partners." No, if you're one of those people saying they got these partnerships, Ripple's going to the moon, you're getting fucking played. Stop letting yourself get played, freaks. I hope you're a new freak here. Like, they are dumping on you. Jed McCaleb started Ripple.
Remember when CNBC was shilling Ripple last cycle?
Brian Kelly, people don't forget, motherfucker. Literally told people had to buy on, what was it, Poloniex. Is Poloniex even around anymore?
Let's be honest though, right? Like, the SEC is just gonna fucking put a slap on their wrist, right? It's gonna be like fucking EOS. Like, EOS is fucking
fuck EOS too. EOS was a big money laundering scheme. If you can't recognize that,
what do you think fucking Ripple is?
Right?
And they got a fucking massive. They just got a slap on the wrist. It was a very minor slap on the wrist, and I kind of expect the same thing here. And just like, did you see like Kobe's doing like this whole new staking op with ETH too, right?
No, I did not notice this.
Oh, and that's why I thought it was funny. You, out of all people, were
What's he doing?
Giving him a nice positive shout out.
This particular tweet on Ripple is like the only.
He's like a main player in the ETH2 staking game.
Really? Nah, he's been pushing it hard.
Weighted behind it.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. ETH2 will never be delivered. I'm fucking more and more confident about that by the day. I'm sorry for any of you ETH believers out there.
I mean, they're probably not listening to this podcast at this point. They're just like masochists if they just listen every week.
Right. Anything you can do, Bitcoin can do better. Bitcoin will do anything better than you.
I know Bitcoiners hurt themselves in their arguments by calling too many things scams. And it's hard to defend the claim of scam. You know, it's easy to defend that pretty much every asset. People think I'm just talking about altcoins, shitcoins, whatever. Every asset's going to trend to zero in terms of sats. Like, when you price it in sats, your annual sats per year, your sats rent every year, your fucking the value of the Chrysler building, the value of Apple stock, the value of Litecoin, all trending to zero. Super easy to defend that statement because it happens year after year. It's just fucking happening. Saying something's a scam is hard to defend. Ripple is a scam. Like, it is fucked up. It is absolutely fucked up. And I think one of the best Nick Carter tweets ever is their bullshit claim that they like discovered XRP, and he has like Brad Garlinghouse colorized discovering XRP like in the Badlands of fucking California, and they're like covered in like blue XRP juice. It's like fucking hilarious. The best thing ever.
Like the Men in Black opening. Fuck you, Brad Garlinghouse. He's gone on. He's like one of the main purveyors of the China controls Bitcoin FUD. That dude can eat a dick in prison if it were up to me. Sorry if that's vulgar, but don't really care.
I mean, I think prisoners should be able to not be forced into non-consensual homosexual sex. And I feel like it's kind of fucked up in this country that we just like, oh, like the second someone goes into jail, like, oh, they're going to get
expected.
Raped.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up. Like, our prisoners shouldn't be raped.
I was saying a proverbial eat a dick, right?
I know, but I feel strongly about it.
I'm happy that you do, because it is pretty.
It's just weird, like in this like culture that we have, where like, you know, you kiss like the wrong person the wrong way and they go after you, but like, oh, the second someone gets charged with a crime, like they should just get raped. Like, we're cool with that. Like, that's fine. It's whatever.
It is a double standard, if you will. Yeah, the prison system's very fucked up.
Yeah, so Dreamin', our boy Freak, was at the First Citadel Dispatch last night. Said that Crypto Cobain put up a 1,000 plus Bitcoin buy wall on ETH BTC on Bitfinex. That got completely filled today. So like, he's making plays on his ETH2 staking, whatever.
Yeah, have fun. Hopefully you get those sats back.
See, that's a proper term, you know, have fun staying poor. But like, to Elon and Portnoy, like, you're not going to get Portnoy on it, man. He's been fucking banking on Penn. He's been a fucking
It's approaching $100 right now.
dude. He doubled down in the fucking March dip. He acted like a proper Bitcoiner. It was just not with Bitcoin. It was with Penn.
Right.
And he
And
fucking doubled down and bought more, and like put his fucking name on the line, and then became Davey Day Trader after that. Davey Day Trader was like a whole concept that was built around the fact that he couldn't talk about Penn because he was a major holder in Penn and it was against securities laws.
it's been yelled
So
at a
like,
couple
dude's
times.
a fucking player. Like, I'll give him shit all day, every day, but like, you got to give him calculated shit. You can't just like,
Say have fun staying poor because
yeah,
he's
like
not
he's
poor at
not
all.
gonna. He
No,
knows
and
exactly what he's doing. He's not, you're not getting. He's not fucking quad poor hedge eye motherfucker.
no,
Like,
not
you
at
got to
all.
know you got to know your target.
You know what I love Dave Portnoy. He's got skin in the game, like you just mentioned with the Penn double down in March. Like what he's doing right now with all the small businesses. Like we talked about the stimulus earlier. Like fuck.
He should let us set up a BTC Pay for him.
You should, Dave, if you're listening. Anybody from Barstool's listening. We just got an XRP Bitcoin in my mentions. But back to
They exist. They live.
100% positive Dave's not listening to this. Anybody from Barstool, if we can help contribute to the small business fund that you guys are raising by allowing Bitcoiners to contribute Bitcoin to the fund, please reach out. Will you happily set it up? It is again, like that's one thing working at Barstool for the very short time that I did. It's not a shtick. Dave is hard on his sleeve, brick by brick, works hard, knows his shit, doesn't back down, has skin in the game. And I think this year has been an extremely illuminating year to prove that even further if you weren't convinced before 2020. What they're doing for the small business, like and he shouldn't even have to be doing it. Like what Barstool's doing for the small businesses, are you fucking kidding me? Like why does Dave Portnoy have to do that? Thank God he is, but like it's so fucked that
dude, small businesses got absolutely
destroyed, dude.
Fucking wrecked. Absolutely fucking wrecked.
It's sad, man.
Ridiculous. It is fucking disgrace.
It's the backbone of our fucking economy. Like
fucking disgrace. But Dave, you should at least come to the golf outing.
Yeah, Dave. I know you're not a big golfer. Send the foreplay guys or something. I don't know.
No, don't they have a golf outing?
They have like a golf tournament.
But he doesn't play?
I don't think Dave golfs, no. I think he has the record at what's the course that they played the US Open at in New York recently?
Bethpage?
Like right outside the city?
I think we're probably Bethpage is on Long Island. But they have played US Opens there. They played it last year, I think.
Yeah, I think it was there. Yeah,
they haven't played shit this year. Fucking Corona.
Yeah, he does know how to swing a club.
Bethpage is a state course, so it's anyone can walk on and play. They have 5 courses there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I went to that event. It was don't go to golf in person.
Shinnecock. Where's Shinnecock?
Shinnecock? Did someone say that?
No, I'm just thinking that.
Yeah, it is Shinnecock. Someone said that.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently that's where
also Long Island.
He set the record. Busy man though. But yeah, anybody from Barstool, if you guys need help setting up.
What do you mean he set the record? Did he have like the worst score ever? Like what does that even mean?
He had I forget
it's in
what
Southampton.
There was something about he had like a certain amount of mulligans on each hole. I forget what it was.
So he like set the record for being as bad as possible.
Yeah. I forget what it was.
Dude, this course is beautiful.
Yeah. That's all we got on the list. Do you want to keep riffing? Are people liking the live stream? What do you guys think of the live stream? Like, do you like our ugly mugs? Should we keep doing this? I'm going to get a better computer. So
I think they like the live streams. I mean, it's like a weird time to do it, like 2 p.m. on Festivus.
Yeah.
But I think they liked it. I think we'll hopefully, let us know, freaks. Like, reach out, comment on Twitter and shit. I assume a bunch of you will watch it on a later time schedule. That's cool. If you're listening to the podcast on our podcast feed, we also appreciate you. And let us know if it's created a degraded experience because we were live streaming instead of just doing it as an audio first kind of situation. All right.
Yeah. It's something we've been priding ourselves on up to this point is that audio only. Is that a differentiator? Maybe we've been wrong about it. Who knows? Like we can do both. Rogan does both. But like I'm also like been like hyper cognizant of just like my mannerisms during this because I've never done a live stream for RHR particularly. Or anything for
we have done live streams for our. We did one for Bitcoin Magazine for the Independence Day for halving.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. We crushed that too. If I do say so myself.
But that was like 45 minutes. It wasn't like what is this, like 2 hours 15 or something.
Yeah, we're getting there. A lot of content. There's probably like 10 hours of content out there in this week alone, which is pretty crazy.
And we love you freaks. Traditional media would say we're going to take a break for the next 3 weeks for the holidays. And we said, fuck you. We're going to double down.
Corn doesn't sleep.
Even more.
I hope you guys like the warm background I have here. The fire is cooking right now. I'm sweating.
Fake news, man.
I do actually have a fireplace. I'll put it on right now.
Well, not according to James O'Byrne.
Oh, James. I agree with you. I prefer a wood burning fire over a gas burning fire, but I prefer a gas fire over no fire at all. There's something about heat from a fire that's very, and I don't want to say, is it animalistic the right word I'm looking for? Very human, very, very good. Shout out to Satsquiat. I say that. Fucking love the live stream. Do it again. We're not too ugly for you freaks. This is good to know. Do you want to riff on anything? Are we wrapping up? What are we doing?
You want to give... No, I'm not going to make you do that.
Do it. Make me do it. Put me on the spot.
End of year price prediction?
Oh, motherfucker. I was not expecting that. 30K. 30K. Watch, we're going to dump to like 15.
Would you say 30K?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already on the record saying 30K, and someone ridiculed me, and they were like, Matt, not to make hard price predictions. But the important part is if you do make a price prediction, you should make it as soon as possible so you can just get past it. You don't want like the McAfee dick thing just like hanging over your head.
Yeah.
What happened? Is he in jail?
I think they're hunting him down.
I think
don't know if he's in jail. Is McAfee in jail? He still has to eat.
He needs 100,000 in like the next 5 days. Otherwise, he's legally compelled to, or like 8 days.
It was last year, wasn't it?
I think he still has time.
No, he had to eat his dick like almost 12 months ago.
Either way, like there's no way
his dick should be fertilizing ground right now because he shit it out already.
The amount I believe in Bitcoin is that I refused. I almost just said I would eat my dick if Bitcoin hit 100K by New Year's, and I won't do that. I will not make that claim because I do not like Bitcoin at any point can just.
I don't really love my dick particularly that much, but like I'm not going to eat it no matter what. Like,
I mean, Bitcoin could theoretically pump to 100K by the end of the year.
Theoretically,
it's not out of the question. To me, that is like an 8% possibility. There's like an 8% possibility.
8?
Yeah.
Put it at like 0.08. If that.
You fucking bear? Really? 0.08?
There's an 8-bit possibility that it goes to 100K between now. There's 7 days.
8%, I think, is reasonable.
8 bips. 8 bips.
Okay, so what about SatCen parity by the end of 2021? So we're talking.
Yeah, that's not even 8%, dude. That's like
12%, right?
No, it's like maybe 0.5%. Maybe 0.5%.
0.5% for SatCen parity by 2021.
That's a mil.
So will you give me 200 to 1 odds on?
No, I'm not giving you 200 to 1 odds, especially if it's paid out in Bitcoin. No.
I will bet you 1 million sats at 200 to 1 odds. That
I'm not giving you 2 Bitcoin.
SatCen parity, but I
you
also
get 2 Bitcoin.
200 to 1. Oh my god.
You're not getting that.
Your like great grandkids would be like working off the debt. They would.
I mean,
I couldn't collect. I wouldn't be able to collect. I would take.
No, I could give you
take 1 million sats from you. I just wouldn't even.
No, you lock up 2 Bitcoin, right? And you're good to go.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But those are like very valuable to Bitcoin.
Exactly. That's why I'm not going to engage in this bet, just in case it happens.
Wow, Marty just.
I'll bet push-ups. I'll do push-ups for you. Like, make me do like 1,000 push-ups.
200 to 1 push-ups.
Yeah. I'll have to do like 20,000 push-ups in a day. I could fucking do that today.
Robert Hamilton says we should never take 100 to 1. You just never do it.
Yeah, no.
But the reverse.
He's a poker player too.
If you can get 100 to 1 bet, you should always take it.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, I mean, there's bets that I wouldn't take that were 100 to 1, probably. I think.
Well, like Sats, like Bitcoin being $1 million by 2021.
Will Litecoin ever flip in Bitcoin?
No.
Right, like I'd bet you 100 to 1 on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that. But I'm not going to take Bitcoin being $1 million by the end of next year.
I didn't say that. I said SAT-cent parity.
It's the same exact fucking thing.
It's different though. It's a little bit different.
It's true. It's true.
I didn't say SAT dollar parity. I'm being reasonable.
Everybody join us. Sats.
SATcentparity.com. Have we hit it yet? Not yet.
Do you have that domain?
I have SAT parity. I have SAT dollar parity as well, just in case. But our boy Future Paul made the website. I just gave him a redirect.
Shout out to Future Paul. What a legend. Shout out to Paul Miller. Your boss. What else do we got going on? Let's riff here. We're live.
I'm getting dinner with him in a little bit. Him and his sister. It'll be good.
Tonight?
Christmas dinner.
Tonight?
No. It's going to be post-Christmas. It'll be this weekend.
In person at a restaurant.
Yeah, you can't have, like, what? I'm going to have a Zoom dinner with him?
Obviously not. I'm like, you going to a restaurant? You cooking?
Your
lady cooking?
Listening to this, but I assumed he was inviting us over, my fiance and I, to his apartment. But we might be going out, I guess. I mean, New York City. I don't think New York City you're allowed to.
I ate inside yesterday. It felt so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I assume I'm gonna eat inside at his apartment. That's the plan.
That's what. Let's end the lockdowns. I'm done. I'm fucking done. If you couldn't tell by the Light Switch Lulu episode, it's time. There's too many small businesses struggling. Risk exists. Take care of your health. If you're afraid, stay inside. I don't know why we're ending on, or I'm taking it here, but I just feel passionate about this right now. Like,
I mean, Marty, you made this pretty clear. I mean, I think we both made this very clear from the beginning.
Yeah. It's fucked.
And like, if you're going to do it, if you're going to expect small businesses to shut down, like, you got to just like fuck the Smithsonian and shit. Like, you just got to just like pour money into everyone's pockets. Like, if you want to pretend like this is like a patriotic duty that people should just close their small businesses, then you should patriotic duty UBI into every single fucking pocket.
Well, like,
constantly. Like,
so let's dive into this. Like, people are like, oh, like, hard. So there's nuance. Hit nuance again on your bingo boards if you haven't already. I don't think we should be giving UBI or handouts to anybody. But if you are, and you're gonna like cover this in a stimulus package and like LARP about we're saving the American people, fucking yesterday's was incredible for the American people. Thank God we passed this bill. A fucking blowhard. Like, they don't fucking give a fuck about you. They don't give.
The status quo is the opposite of UBI, right? The status quo is like universal. You pay.
Let the companies.
It's like universal. We take your money.
All right, we're at the point where I'm tipsy enough on an empty stomach. I'm gonna bring it up. Like, should we have a tax revolution next year? Like, should people fucking pay taxes if this is what the government?
Pay your taxes, freaks. Don't listen.
I don't know, Matt. I'm going to pay my taxes, or I'd pay my taxes this year, but I'm seriously questioning about paying them next year because are you fucking kidding me? Why do we pay taxes? Why do we pay taxes? Why? Why do we give these people our fucking money? They can't handle it. And they give it away. And they fucking give it. Well, a fist is better than a slap. If you have 5 individual, like,
If you wanted the real
why?
answer, Marty, it's because of jail time.
Why do we pay these taxes? Again, I don't want to go to jail. I have a 10-month-old son. I'm seriously like,
You just
is
dox
there
your son
enough?
like that?
Is there enough energy behind the people who've been fucked over, which is most people in America this year, to be like, fuck you. Why am I going to give you tax money when you're giving $1 billion to the Smithsonian, $400 million for gender studies in Pakistan? You give small business, you shut down. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are people putting up with this? Like, should we put up with it? I guess the framing of the original question may not be, maybe a bit uncouth and uncomfortable for people, but I guess a better question is, think about how your tax money is being spent and whether or not you're getting as much value out of the work. You're wiping sweat off your brow, paying all these taxes, and they're fucking sending it overseas for gender studies? Like, what the fuck is going on right now? And why are we putting up with it? Like, why are we just complacent cattle in this bullshit? Fuck these people. Fuck them.
I love you, Marty. 2 comments from the freaks in the comment section. I
can't see the comments.
He's a good dude, so you shouldn't block him. Robert Hamilton says Marty's gonna have fun staying in prison. And Pardis BTC
I'm gonna pay
says, let's all go to jail and just make the jails our citadels.
I like that. We're gonna skip the jails to go straight to the gulags, freak. I hope you realize that. Like, they do not want us to be as free as Bitcoin allows us to be. They don't want that. And they're gonna come after us. They already are with Steve Munchin butts. Fuck these people. Like, why do we just give power to these people? It fucking pisses me off. And I pay my taxes. I actually have a recurring payment to the IRS set up just so, like, they don't freak out. Like, but it's like, I don't know if that was TMI, but
I mean, it's not TMI. Pay your taxes, freaks.
Yeah. But no, but at what point?
The comments goes, came for the Bitcoin talk, stayed for the tax advice.
But at what point do we push back? Be like, this is not working out for us, people.
Robert Hamilton tells you, don't worry, Marty, I'll be next to you in the labor camp.
And we're not going to the labor camps. We're too strong. We're too smart. We're too good looking for these people. They're all ugly, inside and out. Fuck these people, man. This is why we Bitcoin. You know what? Let's pay our taxes. Let's keep building at Bitcoin. Let's keep our heads down. Let's make it as strong as possible. Get it in as many hands as possible. We can walk away from these people in due time. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but at some point, it's going to get to a point where you just say, hey, bye. Fuck you. Fuck you. I get so enraged. Drink. I'm pretty sure that was a rule in the drinking game.
What if you sigh?
Yeah. All right, but I have one more glass of whiskey. We can't finish this until this is
My
done.
dog has great size.
What are they like?
You have a dog yet, Marty?
No, the kid's enough.
I don't. It's different.
Obviously, it's different, but kid's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, the dog helps you raise the kid.
Yes, and my wife and I have always we're gonna get a dog at some point. First, I need to get out of my in-laws' house, get into my own house.
Their house looks gorgeous.
It's incredible.
I'm looking at it. It's beautiful, Marty.
It's like I'm never gonna leave.
I don't understand why are you sitting where you're sitting instead of that beautiful chair behind you.
Because my
father
father
ready to go. You just have the bottle in the glass. It's just like, is that the after hours?
My father-in-law has a shocker on the chair. I'm literally not allowed. I'm on a stool right now. Like, if I'm going to stay here, I can only sit in the stool. His leather chair is off limits until I support his daughter to a point where he doesn't have to worry about her. So yeah, I would love to sit in the chair. I look at it every day longingly.
It's a gorgeous chair.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Fuck, man. Well, This is a holiday issue. As we're getting pissed off at the end of this, let's take some time to be thankful for what we do have. 2020 has been a pretty shitty year for a lot of people.
I
I'm
feel like an
thankful.
asshole. It's been a good year for me, to be honest.
Me as well. Had a child. That's been an incredible time. TFTC is blowing up. Thank you, freaks, for tuning in. We've grown like 150% from a download perspective. Number 32 podcast in the technology section in the US on Spotify.
But not in the world, only the US.
Yeah, only the US, but I'll take
And
it.
only Spotify.
And only Spotify.
If
yes.
anything, I think we'd probably do better outside of Spotify.
Yeah,
I feel
Spotify is like
we're
Spotify's
worse
only
than
like
Spotify, right?
Spotify is only 5% of our downloads.
Yeah, we're
It's pretty
probably
crazy.
like top 18 in the US outside of Spotify
Wouldn't be
in
surprised.
technology.
Wouldn't be surprised. I don't follow these stats unless the only reason I know that is because Spotify like put it in front of me. Yeah, I'm thankful, Matt. I'm thankful for you. Thank you for being such an incredible co-host. Your lady, her cookies have been delicious. My lady has
Do
been.
you actually eat them?
Yes, yes.
It's funny because she is like, she doesn't eat gluten. So it's
Ooh.
like she makes them.
She
And
makes
like
them
she
well.
like cheats
makes them
to
real well.
eat like a little bit to make sure they taste good, but she just doesn't fucking eat them.
Hey, I was going to say her name, but not going to dox your
I
lady.
appreciate you.
Come
Thank
on,
you.
come on. Don't poison yourself for us. They're delicious. You don't have to worry about it.
They're very good.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
Thankful for my health. Thankful for you freaks. Thankful for Great American Mining, my son, wife. Thankful to be alive. Even though this year's been fucking weird, we're alive. We're breathing. We're pushing forward. And it's a gift. Life is a gift. Even though times can be hard sometimes, you should push through. Now the whiskey's hit me.
I want to say that I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that Bitcoin exists and free open source software exists.
I didn't even think Bitcoin. God damn it!
I'm super grateful for. I didn't mean to dunk on you. But I did. I'm thankful for my accidental dunks that I feel like happen on an occasional basis, which is fantastic. I'm thankful for Bitcoiners. I'm super bullish on Bitcoiners, and I think that we can pull this. We can pull this out. Like I'm more bullish on our situation, more optimistic on our situation, which is crazy after this year to be more optimistic. And that's only if you're in our little niche bullshit that's going on here.
This isn't bullshit. It's a niche. I don't think it's bullshit though.
Okay, Marty. You know, I most people are fucked. The 2020 like really kneecapped a lot of people.
Millions.
And to me, it confirmed my biases, and it confirmed who I surround myself with. And I'm super bullish on all you people. I'm bearish and not grateful for Nick Ward, who is currently on Twitter trying to take credit for us snagging TFTC TV because he DM'd me because he's a fellow domain hodler and got us to buy it. He also DM'd me mid this episode to let me know that TFTC.golf was still available, which, by the way, Nick, I snagged. So thank you for letting me know. Mid episode, snagged
buying domains on air,
which is what we're going to use as the domain. If you are interested, just keep checking TFTC.golf and the invite to the tournament will be there. It does not exist yet. It's just going to be a landing page for now.
It's going to be a Pine Valley though.
But great. No, I'm grateful for all the freaks. Like I honestly, like 2020 was unexpected, but it confirmed a lot of my biases, and I honestly, it was a good year for me, and I'm grateful for that because it was a bad year for a lot of people, and I feel for them.
Agreed. You're engaged now. Started a family. I'm trying to think. Citadel. God damn it! Now I can't think of the name.
Dispatch.
Citadel Dispatch.
There we go. It's only been a day, Marty. It's okay.
I know. My concussion brain sucks.
What do you think of Citadel Dispatch? I think it's a good name, right?
It's a great name. Incredible name.
It's like we're going straight out live to all the Citadels.
Yeah, I love it. It's like a pirate radio type vibe.
That's what I was going for. Cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm thankful for you. Thankful for all you freaks that are listening. Stayed around for this. This has been, as Matt said, it's been a fucking tough year. We're going to get through this. We are going to get through this.
There's an 8% chance we hit 100K.
There's 8 pip
by
chance.
the end of the year.
8 pip chance.
I love this idea now that I can make percentage predictions.
Yeah,
I never thought about this before.
I think there's some quant out there. There's some quant out there listening right now. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like,
put it on the record. Matt's predicting a 12% chance for SatCen parity by 2021.
Hey,
price that in.
Hey,
go price that in.
You said it, and you know what? That's the way the cookie crumbles. It's going to happen. 12% chance. All right, I've had enough of whiskey. I need to go cook dinner. I love you, brother. This has been fun.
Stay humble, stack sats.
Peace and love.